Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the penultimate episode of this season of the Rewinds Rewind. We're here. The usual suspects are all here, but we do have an extra special guest in the pod today.
Only
It's
Powerful.
took like
Alex,
8 episodes to get another
everybody.
one.
Hello.
Go,
I'm so happy to be
Alex.
here. It's so
Yeah.
nice to be here, like after being such a fan of the pod and catching up. I'm like, hello, everybody. Ah, it's so familiar.
Yeah.
And are you gonna do like we do and listen to the podcast after, even though you were already on it recording?
Yeah.
Oh, 1,000%. It's just like any voice memo I leave, I absolutely have to
I have
re-listen
to
to it.
play it
Same.
back.
At least twice.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If I talk for
Yes.
10 minutes, I'm gonna be out of control for 20 because I have to listen to it back.
We're
Yeah.
work players, we're narcissists. We all know this. Nothing
Yeah,
new.
yeah,
So yes, Alex, famed two-time Big Brother Rewinds player, Shelly in 13, and
Not
AFP.
famed two-time player.
what?
She
I was like,
famously
what's
played twice.
Famed AFP.
Well, maybe I was gonna get to that. You know what I think?
That's the intro.
It takes so long to list out my flowers. God, I
That's
mean,
true. That's true.
That's true. I think
This is
when
why
I
we're
when I
gonna take
made those little returnee graphics for second chances, I think you had the most little like widgets and stuff on the bottom of it.
Probably, yeah.
Those are so cute. No, Dom did because of all the nominations.
Because all the fucking
Oh,
evictions
that's
over
true.
there.
Best player to never win this show.
That is correct.
Aw,
I
that's
Very
agree.
nice.
decorated Rewinds player overall on 13 and 15. And now she's here to host the pod with us. I'm here also with these lovely, lovely people. Feel free to introduce yourselves.
It's me, Swan. I know you missed me.
We did.
It's me, Shinx. I know you didn't miss me because I was there at the end.
Hi, I'm Graham. Evan Buckley is a boy kisser.
Who the fuck is Evan Barr?
Good lord.
Stream 911 on Hulu and
I hate
also
gay
watch it at 8/7
people.
Central on ABC.
Anyways, I'm Sydney, the female minority hire with finally another woman, and I also have no
Hey.
voice. And I've only gotten like 7 hours of sleep in like 3 days, so we'll see how this goes.
Thriving.
I'm excited.
That's a scary prospect.
But yeah,
I
we are
know.
here. The final five and the final four have both come and gone. We have two more casualties of the season, and we're here to talk all about it. At the end of last episode, Donnie was head of household. He finally got his arch nemesis in the world, Brittany, out.
That's true.
In a unanimous vote.
Rip our queen.
Yes, and
R.I.P.
probably following Brittany's
Brit.
eviction, Victoria decided to walk from the game.
Mhm.
So really we got our double eviction when you think about it. We are now in final five, following Victoria's exit. Donnie is outgoing head of household, so he cannot compete. And Electric Week starts. The house guests are given a competition called Watch Your Rofanity, which is a play on What the Bleep, basically, from the real show.
Mhm.
And they're
Amazing.
given
Content.
clumps of
Thank you,
little
thank you.
speeches that people have left in ceremonies of all the evicted house guests, and they're given multiple choice for what the word that has been left out is. And you either get it right or you don't. People did pretty bad across the board.
We saw this last week. Jackson and Sydney and I talked about this last week. And then we saw it continue into this week of most people don't have good notes. And the only
No.
ones that do are Nicole and Brittany's dead. So any sort of competition that relies on knowing something about the season that they've taken part of, Nicole's gonna win.
Yeah, I
And
will
boy,
say
what's the
it,
endgame looking like?
it was closer than what I thought it was going to be. Joey did get 5 of the 10 quotes right, and Nicole only beat her by getting 6 out of 10. So, and Nicole had literally said that I think she only had notes up to like a certain point for the speech.
Yeah, she was
I
like,
think up to like
I want to
Zap
get
or something.
stopped at jury, and she's like, I never got back to them by
Yeah.
the time I closed the channels. Which
And Joey just didn't have anything, I assume. So
No.
it was kind of a guessing game, but there were 4 options this time, so you were a lot more going to be wrong. Donnie proved it, and then Donnie couldn't even play.
Yeah.
Oops.
Donnie couldn't use his tried and true guessing strategy since
It's
he
true.
was outgoing.
We'll get to that in a second.
We have to get to that. We have to get to that later.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little bit of
Honestly,
a
at that point,
crapshoot.
it just becomes like jury speaks. I mean, like it's just sort of like, okay, do you know the person? Do you know how they
Mhm.
speak? You know.
And I didn't.
So
I lost.
But yeah, so the H-Torch happens, and then we present them with the second most infamous twist of Big Brother 16. The reset, rewind, whatever the fuck you want to call it, button. I went on
Rewind
TV
button.
and called it the soft reset
I think it
button,
was the
but as
reset
we
button.
are,
actually.
No, it's
as
called
we
the
are BB
rewind button.
as BB Rewind, it's called the reruns button.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
no.
But
So they get their clues. They have to find. I called it the button mash because video games. It was also like a fighting type themed, whatever. So yeah, they have to like find all these lists of clues, a la the coup d'état from BB7. And every once an hour, I would delete one of the clues, and they could get closer and closer to finding out the real answer if they remain patient, or they can just try to go off the wall and make a blind guess. And Cody
patience for
immediately
this cast.
guesses
I know.
on
Very
heat,
funny.
which is not the correct answer. And then, as some more and more clues are getting deleted, Cody's like, "Oh my god, I know what it is! I know what it is! I know what it is!" And through a clue that I did not know was a thing, Cody and Nicole correctly surmised the correct answer being Frost because Ghostbusters decided to fuck me over. So Nicole immediately hits on Frost.
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire starring Carrie Coon in theaters now. Just
Okay,
saying.
whatever. And then I delete more stuff, and they're like, "Oh shit, we fucked up. It's Wash." And so they go and run, and in a similar fashion to what Sydney and Cole did to Laura Dern in BB7, Cody and Nicole grab Amber, mostly Nicole, as soon as she comes online, grabs Amber, and it's like, "Hey, hey, just go to your submissions and say Wash and ping the host. Don't read anything else." Mind you, they've already won. They don't know they've won yet, but they've already won at this
Already
point.
won.
So it was completely unnecessary, but it was really funny. And whole time, our beloved insta guesser Donnie did not do that.
yeah, Donnie
He
really
actually
having a
waited
out of character moment.
Yeah.
for
And
every single clue to be
It's
deleted.
so poetic. It is so
know.
poetic that he has blindly guessed in so many competitions and failed. And the one time he should have done it to save his entire game, he didn't.
I will say I don't know what he was
Narrative.
gonna guess. I think he
He's
was
crying.
between Frost and Heat, so he might have blindly picked Heat and been wrong and fucked himself. But we don't know, and now we never will because he
Now we'll
didn't
never
guess.
know.
yeah,
Oh well.
it was so bizarre too, because I think like 2 or like 3 of the guesses were already in, and like quite a few of them had been deleted already. And Donnie was like, I just want to really make sure.
Hmm.
Like,
Because I think Cody and Nicole also they lied to him about what. Oh, they told him they had Amber tell him that she picked Heat, but she actually picked Wash. Because they're like, just in case Wash is right, we don't want Donnie to go into a whole bunch of unnecessary 8D chats. But Nicole had it; it didn't matter, and she was HOH. She was not undoing the button unless someone else went veto and fucked up her plans, and for that doesn't happen either.
yeah. So Nicole, she not only gets that HOH, it's her 4th HOH, I think. Either
I
4th or
believe
5th.
so.
Wait, no, it's her 5th HOH.
Yeah.
Oh, 5th,
Counting-
yeah.
Queen.
Yeah, counting
The
Battle of the Block.
third that
HOH,
counts,
dethroned,
yeah.
Yeah,
fifth.
it's her 5th HOH. Technically, if you want to think about it, it's like her 4th in a row, quote unquote, because she had the 3
Queen.
with the 2 dethroned,
Yep.
and then this was the most recent time she could have won HOH from the last one sticking. So she's on a bit of a tear, and not only does she get HOH, but yes, she also secures the reset button, like Shink said. While Donnie waits it out in his subs or whatever. Nicole is pretty confident in what she wants to do. She's been with Cody and Amber for quite a bit now and doesn't really see any merit in pissing them off, especially with the reset button. They could very well get it and just reset her week anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So she just nominates Donnie and Joey. She talks to both of them, and Donnie seems a little more upset. Maybe isn't the right word about it, but a little
Like
more
downtrodden or something like that.
Yeah,
Well,
because
they're both in Team Rocket.
that's
Oh
true.
my
Why would
fucking.
she nominate her fellow Team
Stop.
Rocket?
Be serious.
Oh yeah, speaking of that, their mission, by the way, was at the Victoria funeral, which they did. It
That
was
was
a
so
beautiful
cute. I
service.
loved
It
it.
was a lovely service.
It was
They
They
put
very
did
more
so-
work
sweet.
into the funeral than they did for my birthday. All I got was a fan cam and an ugly cake.
Okay, but are you a corpse? I don't think so. So
Yeah.
really, count your
Brag
blessings.
them.
True.
I mean,
I did
Pump the
live
brakes
for
a
the
little.
fan cam, but I was like, there could have been more of a party here. I even gave them clues in their DR or in the Team Rocket chat. I was like, where are the margaritas? Can we play some Kylie Minogue? Nothing. But I forget what, oh, I was pissed about the Victoria walk. Sorry, Katie. So when Shinx asked if they passed the test or not for my birthday, I was like, sure, fine. I don't care. Like,
Yeah,
I have
and
to
then
remake
Shinx
I have to
also
remake banners. I don't have time for this.
yeah.
I didn't care to give a poll. I was like, Swan, you just pick. I'm not making a poll right now. My brain was not happy that day.
Yeah, and then Shinx was like, "Do we even want to give them another task? Like their task was to win the game at this point." And I was like, "Give them a task. Have them host Victoria's funeral." And it was great.
and they did. Nicole and
They
Donnie
did.
wrote lovely eulogies, and then Cody became a funeral crasher and stormed the pulpit to say as many nasty things about Victoria as he could in one conversation.
It was hilarious.
It was brilliant.
Really? Oh, I'm gonna have to go
It's
back
so
and read
fitting.
that.
He truly was just like that drunk cousin who comes out, and you're just
Yeah,
like,
100%.
just go
Yeah.
away.
Yep.
Yeah, worth noting though, Amber actually Cody's all of his nasty comments about Victoria are really rubbing Amber the wrong way. And Amber was like, I don't like Cody. Cody's playing a character. I don't like this. And now Amber like hates Cody now, but I don't know Amber's reason anything anymore. But yeah,
That's
she's
kind of
not
been
fond
brewing for a little bit.
of Cody's negativity towards her bestie boo Victoria.
Yeah.
Not the bestie boo.
Because Donnie or Nicole would like post this like paragraph talking about how great Victoria was and how much they're gonna miss her. And Cody would be like, "Yeah, not really. Like she kind of sucked." And then Amber was, I
disrespectful.
think Amber said like, "Well, that's kind of mean, but I'll definitely miss her." And then Cody said, "She's not on the jury. I don't give a fuck."
Amber said, "You don't give a fuck." And Cody said, "Well, not really. She should have done that a while ago. Came on once a day to be forced to do a challenge or vote and talk to probably one person." And then Amber said, "Rip Victoria, I'll miss your bow." And Cody said, "She isn't on jury. I really don't care."
And you know what?
Like,
And
could
this
we have a better villain of the season? Could we have a better villain? Like,
I
This was
know.
so funny because Jury was recently talking about who the villain is. They were like, I don't know who the villain is.
I
Like, is it-
know.
Yeah,
It's
it's DeCosta.
And I'm like,
But
I'm
it's
like,
so
I'm like, y'all have not
weirdly
seen
colored.
this Twink's DRs. Like,
Yeah.
well, to
but
be
like,
fair,
he's such a fun villain, though. He's so
oh,
fun.
I love him so much.
I
But
get
he's
why
so
they think
obviously
it's Zach,
brilliant.
but
to be fair, I think that we actually have talked about this on the pod. Cody has done a really good job of being really social and doesn't typically show that like kind
Mhm.
of catty, nasty villain behavior most of the time to the other house guests. It's usually reserved for his DR, or in rare cases, we'll see it like with like in his alliance chats, like with his members, like talking about like someone they hate or something or whatever that whoever the person that Cody hates that week is. But usually, like that's when you'll see it. The only times we've really seen that nastiness have been during the Shield HOH where Brittany put up Derek in like the Shield group chat. That was one of the one times we saw it. And then the other time we saw it was Victoria's funeral. Like those are the two times I think that the house guests have really seen it like publicly, because he's done a really good job of keeping it together. But once they get out and read those DRs, there's gonna be no question about who the villain
even
is.
his DRs about Donnie. Okay, let's just get into this. So we get just to cut back.
He's gone in
veto-
quite a few times. He's gone in about Hayden a number of times, and then he went in on Caleb a few times. I think Caleb
He's gone
after,
in on Donnie.
after Caleb's Chat GPT speech, he like went in on Caleb, Donnie a
Didn't
lot.
realize it was Chat GPT. So he's like, why is he wasting? Like, he thinks he's so dramatic doing these speeches.
Oh
Like,
my
why don't you put that energy into my DMs, babe? Like,
Yeah,
and
it was
it's
the
like,
most.
bro,
But you know, we love him.
it's AI.
Yeah. So the veto is a classic rewind Jackson maze. You know them, you hate them, you have the trauma. I know Blaze and Chris do. Anyways, yeah.
I
So
do too.
everyone
I
does
do
the
too. I still claim that trauma as well. Okay.
I
really
was just
do.
about to say Alex had a whole breakdown after that maze competition.
I did. Oh my god, it was awful. But go on. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
So Amber continues to prove that Zingbot was right about her, as she got a time of 16:02 in this maze competition. Donnie comes up close with 8:21, and Joey with 6:16. But ultimately, it comes down to Cody and Nicole. Nobody's surprised. The words that no Big Brother fans ever wants to hear, except me. And Nicole's 429 was not enough to beat Cody's blazing 420. So he wins the veto and then goes to his DR and it's like, fuck you, Donnie. You use the veto to disrespect me in my week. I'm using the veto to send you home.
Can I just say, this cast like is obsessed with blood. Like
Yeah.
They
And
are
And I
not.
love that for them.
Absolutely.
I love that for
Yeah.
them.
They're
It
very
makes me
clever.
so happy.
Literally, like there are several. It is not one person, several who hold on to a grudge for weeks over the tiniest thing, and then it comes out and they're like in their DR, like, I want this person's head on a pike. I
Yeah.
want them to suffer forever raising a hand against me. Like they're a
Even
petty.
Nicole, who's like
I
being like
love them
sweet
so
and
much.
like doesn't curse, has been holding on to this grudge mission since week fucking 3. Like these people are petty, and I'm quite a fan.
And they should be.
Yeah,
Yep.
because wait, now that you mentioned that, Shanks, because Nicole has this thing where she has a conversation with Cody where she talks about how she doesn't want anyone that voted to evict Devin week 3 on her HOH at the end with her
Yeah.
because they don't want to hold that like over her. And also even outside of that, it's like literally a personal grudge that she has where she's like she doesn't
Yeah.
want that to happen.
She wants all the Devin, Derek antis who didn't vote with them. Like, all right, get the fuck out of here. I'm sticking with my people. I get the
So-
logic of like not wanting them to have something over you, but I'm also like, that was week 3.
Yeah.
Like, girl. Come on.
But then
And-
she'll have to get rid of Amber at some point.
Yeah, but I mean she
Yeah,
plans
and
on
she
doing
wants
that,
to,
so
so
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So yeah, Cody does come away with his 420 Blaze power veto competition. Another
Which I will say is kind of an interesting point because we haven't really seen him. We've seen him like kind of clutch some comps every now and then, but we haven't seen him be able to beat the bigger players like Brittany or Nicole or that kind of thing in those comps before. So this was kind of the first time we saw it happen. And that could eventually maybe be a factor in choosing whether or not to keep him later on down the line at like Final 4, Final 3 or something. Now, spoiler,
Wait.
it
It
might
doesn't.
not become that,
doesn't
but
have-
but it is an interesting philosophical question to
you would
position.
think that
You would think.
Nicole, seeing the only person that can seemingly match up to her in competitions, would want to evict that. But
One would
I
think.
think
might
Nicole
be
brushed
wrong.
it off because she like messed up and she's like, I wasn't perfect, and like I understood if I was perfect, Cody wouldn't beat me. And that was also like 9 seconds. She's probably not threatened by 9 seconds. If it was like a wider margin, maybe, but it was like
That's
it's
true.
9 seconds.
But you're not going to be perfect every single competition. Like part of planning for I'm going into like crazy psycho killer mode as like an org player. But like part of planning for contingency is making sure that you keep people you can beat even when you're not perfect. You know what I mean?
But we've seen
We'll get onto this.
with
We'll get
Nic-
on this recycle 4. We'll get on this recycle 4.
we've
Thoughts
just
about
seen
this,
with
but I don't want to
Nicole
go
that
off on this
she
tangent
likes
ahead of time.
to
Yeah.
be particular, like with the ice veto, or even with the ghost with the days veto competition, where she's like, I want it to be perfect, and I'm gonna do practice for hours. So it's like, I guess that she thinks that she has to like prepare and like put up or shut up before she even enters the battlefield. So she's probably not too threatened, but she's like, I wasn't my best. He can't beat me my best, and that's probably why she doesn't care.
Yeah.
So
You
yeah,
know what?
Cody,
I like the confidence. I do.
yeah,
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Cody does not use the power of veto, and we do end up having to wait a couple hours to see if Nicole will indeed push the button or not. She does not, obviously.
Yeah, there's no reason for her to.
I
Obviously.
The only
Donnie was
reason
fighting.
she probably would have is if Donnie somehow convinced Cody to use the veto on him, and then Amber went up as the renom. But that wasn't
And
gonna happen.
that to me is
It
still
wasn't gonna
crazy.
happen.
Like if I'm Final 5 HOH, I already know like I'm not gonna give up my safety to Final 4. You're guaranteed Final
Yeah.
4. Why would you give that up?
Yeah.
I
Unless
was
you
about
have
to say, I think I saw something in her diary room about like, well, I'm just definitely not using it because I want to get to
Yeah.
Final 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think no matter what, she was just not going to use it.
Yeah.
for
And it
that
would be
reason.
one thing if we were repeating the same comps like we were supposed to do because of the show, but we ended up not doing because of Victoria, where she could be like, okay, I'm confident I could do really well. Even if I don't win the second HOH, I could win the second video. But like, why would you take the gamble with brand new comps that you don't even know what they're going to be?
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
no reason for that. So.
Yeah. So all the reason. So yeah, Cody freezes nominations. the button is not pushed, and it is Donnie and Joey on the block. What will happen? Donnie sure seems to think that he has Cody's vote to stay. Which makes zero sense, because if that was the case, he probably would have used the veto on you. So
Yeah.
I think Cody said, I don't want to damage Amber and I don't want to make anyone upset before the reset, blah, 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 blah.
This is when Amber starts to suggest that, just to us, I don't think she says it to anybody else, but that she kind of wants Joey to go instead, right?
Yeah.
yes, because
Yeah.
I think Amber more so is concerned about just getting to final two at this point, because I think she seems very confident in her ability to sell her game and sell herself to the jury. I mean, she already has a good basis. A lot of the jury really likes her
Mhm.
and really respects her game. So she would have a good start. But yeah, she wants to remove Joey from the board. That way, no matter what, the likely like Cody and Nicole take her to the end over the other, which would be the case seemingly. So
Mhm.
I think like Amber's just so, and this is what the jury has said a little bit, just so exquisitely positioned throughout so much of this game, but especially endgame. Like she has two other huge targets ahead of her, but the jury respects her game enough that like even if she's up against one of them, like she's gonna like have a good like argument with them. So yeah, Amber's eating a bit.
Yeah, her positioning is like perfect. And we'll get to it when we talk about Final Four. Again, this is more Final Four stuff because our Final Five cycle wasn't really as interesting because our HOH also won the rewind power. And then one of her number one allies, who she wants to take to Final Two, won the veto. So it was like it was just super straightforward this cycle.
Yeah,
The
Donnie
three
kind of
alliance
left with
members were completely out of danger the entire time. The two outsiders were going to be on the block, and one of them was going to go home the whole time.
As
So-
sad as it is to see like a major twist of the season go unused, it is nice in the continued pattern of
PBR
rewinds
twists.
correcting
Yeah.
a real Big Brother's production mistakes, because it really was a terrible twist that essentially existed just to rig Frankie out. Like
Yeah.
it made no sense, and it's literally a dumb twist, because it's like, okay, what's the point of playing competitions? And it's even dumber in the rewinds context, just because the structure of our org, you have to know the twist ahead of time because they're based on the show, and it's just like it made it so like, is anybody gonna even want to compete for Final Five HOH? Like, why
Yeah.
would you? Like, so I kind of don't mind it not really coming into play, because it's kind of a bad twist anyway, and
Yeah.
it worked out.
and
I'm all for
even
Frankie getting rigged out though.
right. Well,
I would have been really
I
I would have been really sad to
earlier.
see like Nicole win Final Five HOH and then somebody else get the button, and then somehow Nicole go home like on the rewind when she
Yeah.
already won HOH like Frankie did. It's just gross to me,
Yeah.
and like defeats the
Yeah.
purpose of the game.
Yeah.
So I don't miss it.
Yeah, and it's not even like the halting hex or anything in like 19, where it's like, okay, we can just stop this eviction from happening, and then it continues on to like a different week. It's straight up just like, okay, let's do this exact same thing again and see if there's
Right.
different results. Like, what was the point in that? But
Isn't that the definition of insanity?
that is
Yes.
Yeah.
Allison Gardner, everybody. There we go.
Yeah.
But yes, the
I mean, it worked on the
nomination-
show.
Yeah, true. The nominations are locked. Donnie and Joey. Joey seems pretty confident just because it's Donnie. Donnie has pissed a lot of these people off and is a much bigger comp threat. And she's already made her little side deals with at least Cody and Nicole. And that's all you need even to get like a tiebreak if Amber does decide to go rogue and do something.
Mhm.
But even at this point, Amber is lying to Donnie too and saying, like, trying to plot with Donnie and being like, here's how we can get Joey out and here's what we can do. And that is what she wants, but she knows it's not realistic to make it happen. So she's placating Donnie with however much. And she eventually goes and is like, Donnie, I just don't think it's gonna happen. Cody is unwavering and he's not gonna change it. And it'll just make me a target at 4 if I go against it. So is it okay if I vote you out too? And Donnie's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Just do it. It's fine.
Well, also, there's a couple different factors here too. Donnie is not only way more of a comp threat than Joey is going into endgame. Donnie is also a way bigger jury threat than Joey is going into endgame, simply for the fact that, say it again, folks, Joey's been evicted from the game, and people who get evicted and come back typically don't win the game. Jag, you're the worst.
Fuck you,
Yeah,
Jack Vines.
like it's
I hate twists like that because it's like either they get revolving doored or they get dragged to the end and lose near unanimously. Jag,
Yeah.
shithead, Baines aside, but it's just
Yeah.
like what? So what is the point of this? Because it never works out interestingly. Like
Yeah,
it was nice to have Joey come back and spice things up for a little
Yes.
bit, but like she was
Absolutely.
never going to be a contender to win the game. You know.
So there's literally no incentive to get rid of Joey for
But-
anybody at this point.
And I realize
No.
other people, like from the standpoint of being a jury member, you can have your own opinions on anything as a jury member. You made it to that point. It's your vote. You can do whatever you want with it. But me personally, the whole thing, if I was basing it on like gameplay, it would all like you could say however much you wanted, and it could be, well, this person got evicted and
Yeah.
this person didn't. Like that's like a core like facet of the game. Like it would take a lot to have to overcome that.
Yeah. Unless you were
I'm
sitting
not-
as like the worst person on earth. You know what I mean? At
Yeah.
Final 2, you know?
I'm fine with Battleback winners even before the Underwood of it all, because like I voted for a Battleback winner. I've been a Battleback winner. It's just like, it
Not the
depends.
flex.
It's case by case. I was making a genuine point, like besides my own personal experience, it's like case by case. Because also like, it
Sydney's
depends on what
Battleback
you-
winner
What is winning
once
a
before?
competition?
like I've won the org after being a Battleback.
We got it the
And
first time.
Swan didn't get it. He asked for clarification
No, when did I ask for clarification?
just now.
No, I said I voted for a Battleback winner before, or as a winner before, but only because they were like up against like the shittiest goat of all shitty
No,
goats.
Go ahead, just
Yeah.
keep on Jinx.
I'm just gonna
Go
say
ahead.
what I was gonna say. It also depends on what they do after they return. And I was gonna make a
Correct.
point that Joey has not really done anything since her return.
Well, that's
That
not
he's
true.
I
done-
disagree
I
with
completely
that.
That
disagree.
is not true.
Wholeheartedly. Did you not listen to last episode? We gave her trainer of
Okay.
the episode.
She yelled at Donnie to not do a stupid thing. That's like the bare
She's
minimum.
trying to work with Cody and Nicole. She's been
That,
making
that
moves.
chat has 3 messages in it. What are you talking about? There's nothing in that chat.
Individually, though, we'll get to it, but I think Joey does some good work in Final 4.
Yeah.
Why are you hating
Yeah.
Joey?
I'm not hating Joey.
it
I just don't
homophobia?
Because
think
he
Yeah.
had
wants to
win
simp for
equity.
Nicole.
You just
He's-
said that she
She did
hasn't
not
done
have win
anything since she got back in. That's not true.
Her
with
win equity
Joey.
has not
True.
rose
been the
at
best
all.
positioned person in the back half
Her
of the
win
journey.
equity remained in the toilet, which is what we just said about how Battleback people don't win the game. You just said that.
But
Did
you
you
said
not
that she
just-
didn't.
That does not equal she hasn't done anything.
Yeah, I feel like
Okay.
she's definitely done things, but I don't know if she's done enough to make up for the lack of win equity that like tanked
That's
when
a
she
fair
was
comment.
left the
Yeah,
game.
That's
Yeah.
That is the correct comment.
That I agree with.
But
Yeah.
also, like, then that could have changed had she, I don't know, won Final 4 veto and sent Nicole home, and then won Final 3 HOH and cut Cody and taken Amber. You know what I mean? Like, then that becomes a much different conversation because she positioned herself incredibly well during when she came back and was the best positioned person in the game coming back from it, playing both sides. Even because by the time, even though Amber's been playing in a really good position, she kind of finally put herself firmly with the side once this like final 6 split started to happen. She veered way more towards like Cody, Nicole, and Brittany than she did to like Donnie and Joey and Victoria. So Jody was the only one actively like kind of being really tied on both sides. And then if she had done something like that, then maybe the conversation goes a little differently, right? Because she was greatly positioned, and then she came back and kind of bossed it up and took out the 2 biggest threats to win the game, like since day 1, right? Other than Zach, but Zach did Zach things. So I don't know. The conversation becomes different, but I think discrediting Joey's post Battleback game to she's done nothing is a gross
Mhm.
misrepresentation of the situation.
I just think that post her return, the soccer moms were always going to focus on Hayden and Donnie. They were never going to target Joey before that. And obviously, the Bluey Brigade is still going to work with Joey. So it's like, yes, she was in the best position, but I'm just saying she just came back to that position. Yes, she worked to keep it. She just came back and got that because she was not the top dog to fry. If Zach had come back, he would have been the top dog to fry, and Donnie or Hayden would have probably slid by more. But because Joey was a lower tier person, they still kept their sights on Hayden and Donnie. So I'm not saying Joey didn't do anything. I just think she came back to be in a position where they weren't going to target her anyways, and she made the most of that. Good for her. But I don't think she was ever in that much danger until
That's
right
fair,
the
but she
second
did
when
do
Nicole
stuff.
did
She
something
didn't
stupid.
That's a fair assessment.
I was gonna say her making the most of that is doing something. So
Okay.
I mean,
There
I'm
is
just saying,
that.
like, compared to like someone like Caleb or Victoria, who we saw actually do nothing, Joey's definitely not that. Like, it's not
That
like
is
Joey
true.
just showed up, knew she had a good position, didn't talk to anybody, and fucked off. Like, she
Yeah.
tried to form alliances, make relationships, throw people under the bus. Like, she's trying to make moves. Now, does she have to do it all? Like, to stay? Like, maybe not. But she's trying.
All of that being said, Amber does end up voting to evict Donnie along with Cody, and the beard gets trimmed and gets evicted maybe shaved. The beard gets shaved,
Ugh.
Damn.
and Donnie is sent to the jury house by a vote of 2-0.
Rip
Rip the beard.
the
All right.
Oh my
beard.
God, they ripped the beard off.
They literally shaved his
That sounds
beard
painful.
against his will.
It is.
Yeah. They
And I
snapped
was
him
there
by the
for it.
beard
I
and
held
they
Donnie down
kicked
while
him
they
out the
shaved
door.
it.
But yes, with the beard exiting Big Brother 16, the cycle comes to a close.
Thank God.
We are now at the final four, but before we get there, we need to discuss our MVPs and LVPs. Would anybody like to go first?
Yes. Before you people boo me off the stage, I'm just gonna say it's not a traditional sweep week, but in a week with three comps, she left with 2 wins and secured that the week would not get undone. MVP does Nicole for destroying it. Well, not destroying, barely winning each HOH, and then destroying the button comp to secure that no one take it away from her.
Oh yes,
And
I
getting
think
her
we
stable
said it
target
was
out.
instead of like a sweep week, it was like a broom week.
A broom or
Yeah,
something.
a mop.
A mop.
Oh yeah,
a
mop
mop.
week.
A
Yes.
broom.
She mopped.
She mopped this
Oh,
week.
she
Mother
mopped the
mopped.
week. Yes.
She mopped the floor.
Because
Yeah,
it was
she
a
secured her
walk.
HOH. Yeah, that's an LVP. You think after this got whacked, I'd be afraid to say this, but I'm gonna say Joey because there was nothing she had to do this week. It was just like, don't be Donnie, and that like sometimes there's not much to do in the week.
And you'll find that in Sydney's case, that's quite a lot. To not be Donnie.
Yeah, Joey's just getting it by default because she was on the block and no one
Watch
she was,
yourselves.
and I can't give it to the dead person because that'll piss off Graham. So yeah,
Wait,
Period.
I can't give it to Donnie?
Graham doesn't like when you give it to the evicted person.
Sydney, you
apparently.
can give it to Donnie.
I mean, I've
Let's
also
fucking go!
given
Sydney
it.
has earned that right.
No one else gets to give it to Donnie.
But Sydney does. I mean, I've also given LVP to a person who went home, so I can't really say much. I'll go next, just a segue. I have the exact same two as Shinx this week, actually, surprisingly. I think it's pretty clear, like MVP is just Nicole this week. She completely dominated the week. There was nothing anybody else could have done to like mess up her plan, really. Because even if they did, she had the rewind button in her back pocket. So she was in complete control, got exactly what she wanted, got the biggest target out between Donnie and Joey, which like not saying much, it's just Donnie, but clear MVP. And then my LVP for the week again is Joey. And again, like Shink said, it's not because she did anything bad. It's just the fact that she was eligible to go home and she was the one that didn't. So sometimes not being Donnie is enough.
I'll go next. Pretty simple MVP for me. I agree, Nicole as well. Won an important HOH. Didn't win veto, but her like closest ally did. And yeah, she secured the rewind button when she had HOH, which is like probably the most important person to have that to ensure that it doesn't, screw up your week. She played all that really well. Nothing like crazy impressive, just like a good HOH got her target out and like boom boom made sure the twist didn't fuck her up. I'm gonna say for LVP, this isn't as much as a whack for me as it usually is. It's more of just like we've said before, like I kind of wanted to see more. I don't even necessarily think she was like the worst player of the week by any means. I'm just gonna kind of knock her for some things. I'm gonna give it to Amber, just because if Amber really did want Joey to go, she should have put more work in for that to happen. And I do think Donnie was her number one. And so she lost her number one with that. And yes, she's been very clearly tied to the other side now at this point, but she kind of had Donnie in her pocket as like her person on the other side. So really losing Donnie was worst for Amber. So I'm going to give her LVP for that reason. And just because if she really did want Joey to go, she should have put more work in to try and make that happen. Do I think it would have happened anyway? Probably not. But you know, I'm just, like I said, it's not like I'm not whacking her. Just kind of like, you could have done more. You could have done more.
Yeah.
And it's final five. Nobody's playing abysmally bad. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great. I can go next because I agree with Swan. I'm going to give my MVP to Nicole for the same reasons that everyone else has said. She had complete control and got out who she wanted out. And then my LVP is also going to be Amber. I do understand from a positioning standpoint, which has kind of been Amber's entire game. So it makes sense that she's looking at it from that point. So I do understand wanting to get Joey out so that you are the person that most people are looking at to bring to the end.
Mhm.
And there is a lot of merit in that. But I also think that Amber's best bet, probably like on paper in the end, is also Joey. And I think she could match up to Cody or Nicole. I think it might take a little bit more work, but honestly, it's kind of like splitting hairs at that point. I think she has a good shot against basically anybody. But I would think the like optimal quote unquote move would be for her to go with Joey. But like Swan said, it probably wasn't realistic anyways for her to do all that. So that is my MVP Nicole, LVP Amber.
So mine are, I actually do agree on the Nicole Joey MVLB VP and everything. And yeah, again, Nicole, what everyone has said, she ran that week like the Navy. I mean, I will say, did it really help her threat level?
Yeah.
No. I think we're kind of beyond that point with her. So like,
Yeah.
kind of who gives a shit, you know? Like
Yeah.
she's gonna have to comp to the end anyway. So like, at least she kind of, you know, got her way to next week.
Yeah.
So, and then, yeah, Joey, I literally, my note for that is Joey, I guess. She didn't really do anything wrong, but everyone else seemed to do things right. So, like, you know,
Yeah.
it's just kind of,
See,
That's
we need
fair.
to name someone.
About Nicole's threat level, where it's like there's a certain point where a threat level is never going to go away, so you might as well feed into it, like
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
if you don't like if at that point the threat level's there, if you throw a comp or something to try and get the threat level off, baby, you're going home. Like
Yeah.
that's
Right.
just how it's going to happen. And I could have understood the temptation to throw Final Five HOH because I hate Final Five HOH, but I'm glad she stuck to her guns and had the right instinct to gun for it.
Yeah, Nicole's threat level exploded at Final 8. So after that, it was like,
I mean, she hasn't
Good
lost
call.
since. So
and she hasn't lost a comp since Final 8. So
My turn. Second woman to go. That's so beautiful. I'm always the first and only woman to go. So this is like changing my whole life right now.
We're doubling it.
Let women speak. I say it every week.
We say as I joined muted.
yeah,
that's Zoom's fault.
But
The
like,
system.
silencing yourself is still feminist. It's only bad when
There we go.
they do it to us. So obviously MVP is Nicole for all the reasons you guys said. Complete control of the week. Obvious choice. I get the beautiful privilege and honor of naming my LVP after someone dead. Mr. Donnie, the beard man, whose beard was forcibly shaved from his face, his rat little face. And you know, I shouldn't kick him while he's down because he obviously got evicted. Like,
But you're going to.
The look of sheer bliss on your face, by the way, right now is really stunning.
Yeah, let her have this. She has been looking forward to this for 13 cycles.
Thing for y'all. I don't know if y'all saw.
I'm just gonna put all my thoughts in like a simple summary. The thing about Donnie is, and I sound like a broken record, I've said this probably every fucking podcast, Donnie just loved a misplay. He didn't always misplay because he clearly made it very far and he had good instincts, but he would just choose the most opportune times to fuck his game in the ass for no fucking reason. And then he would kind of get like pissy with everybody else and then have like delusional reads about what was going on that were so confident. It just kind of pissed me off. but I liked him as a character, of course. Nothing against him as a person in any way. Like, just there was something about the way he approached the game that irked me. And I would have been upset if he ended up in final two. Not against his personality or his personhood, just because I didn't think he deserved to get in final two. I was just, period. I think the people who are, spoiler, in final three right now deserve to be in final three. So,
Period.
at the end of the day,
True.
it truly is an honor to give this to him because he's really given me the joy. But I love that he left with grace. He was so nice about everything, which can be hard. I think everyone knows how much it sucks to leave the house when you're so close to the end. So I respect that a lot.
With all of those wonderful words, Sydney, why don't you lead us into your trainer of the episode as well?
Trainer of the week is Nicole. Wow. Again,
Deserved.
I won't harp on it because we pretty much just went over it with all of our MVPs being Nicole. Maybe it could have been someone else, but like it kind of couldn't have been because at the end of the day, Nicole completely dominated the week, secured her spot in Final Four, didn't let anybody else fuck her over with the button, got out who she wanted out. I mean,
Yep.
is it straightforward? Was it like super exciting? No. Does that matter? No. If you're a
Clean as
feminist,
fuck.
you support women's success even when it's boring. And I do.
Period.
Honestly, especially when it's boring, because that just means that it's so skillful that like it's not messy. You know what I mean?
And you know what? It's hard for me to understand that because every single time I stumbled my way into endgame, it was not clean, it was not skillful, and it was scary and horrible. And I didn't win any time. So I could never beat her. Like, really, I need to take lessons from Miss Nicole Frenzo.
I was kind of surprised because Nicole, as we've said, largely has been the player of the season. Like, she's done very well.
For sure.
She hasn't gotten a trainer of the episode or like trainer of the cycle or week or whatever since way back in like cycle 4.
Yeah.
Where even then it wasn't.
We didn't give it to her the week.
Some of it was us spreading wealth. I think.
Well, I also think
No.
we've talked about this and it kind of applies here.
Why didn't we give it to her that week?
Which week?
Which week?
The week
Where
that
she came off the
saved
block.
herself from the block and Jocasta went home.
Oh, because after they got them in the position to begin with, it was like yay for Donnie or whatever. Or
Oh,
for Hayden,
because
whoever did it.
that was just her saving herself. Like,
Oh yeah, you guys made me give trainer of the week to Donnie that week.
I did not. I was Team Nicole.
This is all
actually.
coming back to me now.
I was Team
was
Nicole
not part of it.
personally, for once. I think this does harken to what we talked about this week, though, is that Nicole has been the player of the season. She's been so solid. She's been so like strategically gifted and skilled maneuvering her way through the season that it's almost been boring in the sense of it's been so good that it's like we've chosen to highlight other people or other people's highs seem higher than hers that week, even though she has the most MVP points overall. She just doesn't have the most like trainers of the episode, like I said, just because normally she's already playing at like this like second, like either first or second of the week in terms of how she makes it out. So if someone ends up being first ahead of her, they would usually get trainer of the week just because she was already like
and
in
I
position.
also look at it as like someone who kind of like Graham said, who is like kind of having their moment, like that cycle. And Nicole has just been playing so well consistently across the board that she's not like plateauing, but she's been at the same level for like so long and hasn't really had to like go up or increase from that when other
She's
people
always
do.
having her moment.
Yeah,
It's hard.
when other
Yeah, it's hard to
people
have
do,
a
like,
standout
spike.
moment when your whole game is standout.
Yeah,
We're basically grading her on a curve at this point because it's like she's just at such a level of excellence that it's like
she sets the curve every
But
week.
I think that it's really important to also, which I think we're doing now. I think it's important to give flowers. You know, just because someone is doing so well so consistently doesn't mean that we should just take it for granted that that's the case and not really celebrate them. You know what I mean? I think that's so easy to fall into. Is like, oh yeah, they're playing good. Well, what else is new?
And
Like,
we won't
no,
be taking that for
give
granted.
flowers.
And we
during
want
the
to,
final
and
finals.
you know,
So-
and when
For the rest
when
of
those
this
great
podcast.
players that are playing so strongly, have their down moments, we want to make sure and get mention those too. So, shall we move on to Final Four?
Talk about cycle
Oh,
great segue,
4.
Swan.
Good
Speaking of-
transition.
Damn.
But yes, Donnie kicks the curb, and we're sent into Final Four.
Bye bye.
Yes.
And Big Brother
Or-
Rewind's first, for the first time since our debuts, the Final Four HOH is not the escape room. It is in fact a face morph, as we have decided. Endurance competitions are a thing of the past.
It's true.
Doing locked
They
and loaded
suck.
15
Boo.
minutes is boring to begin with.
Yeah.
So we decided we're gonna take our staple escape room and push it to Final 3 Part 1.
Mhm.
So that way they still get their they still have to conquer something over upwards of an hour, but they're not gonna be like staying awake and losing sleep because I don't want to host that shit. No one else will host that shit. So
And I think
don't
I
wanna suffer.
I'd suggested doing that. Either I know I did it last season, whether it was on accident or not. And I might have suggested it for 14 as well. I don't remember. But I think we were all like, oh, we'll just stick to it, what we've always done. So it is nice. that-
14, I was killing myself because I was like, none of you are all awake except Swan, and Swan fell asleep on me, and I was like, oh my fucking god.
The lesson is, which I don't have to learn this lesson because we're not doing it anymore, is that I shouldn't drink wine while staying up to locked and loaded.
Yeah,
So true,
because I
King.
think Swan also fell asleep during our ones we were playing, but we'll get into that later. Anyways,
But yes,
yeah,
escape
locked
room,
and loaded stuff.
endurance
Escape room.
competition, tired. Face morph, wired. We're in it,
We
Yeah.
baby.
love face
And
Thanks,
these
Victoria.
And these people did not get it.
Broken record. These people suck at competitions.
I fucking hate face morph, you guys. Y'all know I have like face morph trauma. I
You got
would
an easy face more.
don't tell me
I
that.
don't know.
Over
We're-
that face
Because
morph.
starting with like 13, we started actually morphing the faces, but before then it was like cut out the eyes, cut out the hair, and here
It was
no,
like
we're
a
gonna
like a serial killer board. It was really
Okay,
Yeah,
I
it was
will
like a
say,
good killer
Jinx,
board.
where's the channel? Where's the channel with all the face morphs? Because there's a few of them I would boink.
Oh
Same.
my god.
There's
It's
the
in
one that's like
the-
Frankie
the
mixed with
battle
someone, and it
stadium.
looks like Nicholas Galitzine.
The battle stadium.
Frankie Hayden is one of the ones that could get it. Cody Victoria could get it.
Yes.
And there's one more.
Is it Caleb and Brittany?
Kayla
like
Brittany
fuck,
could get
marry,
it.
kill here on the podcast.
Kayla Brittany could get it. Okay,
Amber
maybe.
Nicole.
Just needed to
But
share those.
That's it. It's honest.
I think we've learned that everybody on the hosting team would Caleb, regardless of what form it was in.
No,
Sprite form.
What did you just say?
no, I really wouldn't.
I had to put my
Not
phone
like
down to charge
base
it.
Caleb.
What did you just say?
They've been thirsting over Caleb's
A
Sprite
false
since
statement.
I
That's
made
what you just
them.
said.
I like
Did
to
you
spend
just
time.
imply that all of us would fuck Caleb's Sprite?
Yes.
Sydney's
you
like,
all
I would
do
fuck
that.
a horse, but really, that's
Oh my
crossing the
God.
line.
Right. I have no
Yeah.
standards.
Maybe the horse that Caleb's riding, but
Save
not
a-
Caleb.
Save a horse.
Right,
ride a
Yeah.
cowboy.
yeah.
There it is. There it is. There's the
It's
circle.
like let's
Save a
say
horse, ride a
horse.
cowboy.
Save a horse, ride a
Anyways.
Caleb.
Ride a beast mode cowboy.
Everyone, they get their face morphs that have been superimposed onto the faces of Pokemon sprites of varying degrees of
Oh yeah,
attractiveness or
those were
whatnot.
like.
Horrifying.
I think you were sending those as we were recording the last podcast, and it like legitimately jump scared me.
Y'all wouldn't do this, guy. Y'all wouldn't do this.
No,
I can't even see that.
Yeah,
but the answer is no.
It's
It
the
was-
the one with Caleb and Brayden. Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, they all go in. They all fucking suck, and Amber
it's
just
pretty
sucks to lead. It's funny because Amber's like, oh, I flopped. I can't believe this. I am such a loser. Zingbot was
Which,
right.
like,
Goes
in
to
a
bed.
way, she did, but just the least flop.
yeah.
Yeah.
Goes to bed.
I really thought that Cody was gonna win it.
I just do.
Cody
Because Joey and
bungled it.
Amber both went pretty quickly and both did just god awful.
Yeah.
And I think Amber got like 23 minutes or something like that, and Joey just got like
Yeah.
a billion
20
penalties.
29 flat for Joey.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, so Cody has this in the bag. Like, he'll be fine. He's also like, he took time like that night and the next morning, and he said he was studying and stuff like that and looking at it. And he, like, whatever the opposite of hit the ground running was, he like hit the ground dead.
He hit the ground and fell. From the
Yeah.
Didn't even
And
hit the
One, right? Like
ground.
he did
Dead.
relatively well. He just really struggled with the first one.
yeah, because the first one was like Caleb and someone.
It's Caleb and Brittany.
Yeah. And
'Cause I was like-
he literally put every 15
Every
other house guests along with Caleb. And it was the
Just because
last one.
my logic with this is by the time you get more to the end, it's going to be easier. So why would I put the harder pieces at the end?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm going to put Donnie's beard in the final. I'm going to put Frankie's pink hair in the semifinal question. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's the first one, and it's final for HOH. It ain't gonna be a cakewalk.
Yeah.
Put in the work, and they
And
all did. They all
the
finished the
cakewalk,
competition.
It was not, as the winning time was Amber with like 24 minutes.
23
So
minutes.
But I will
Paige
say, slay for Queen Amber,
Yes.
guaranteeing her
Yes.
spot in the final 3.
Yep.
Like,
Hell
went to bed
yeah.
thinking she flopped, and I was like, "Girl, wake up! You won." She was like, "Oh my god, I'm in gold!" And it was a heartwarming moment. But it was
yeah,
like,
well,
It
because her
was.
whole arc has
Yeah.
been she's been like asset comps, and she's been trying.
I don't think I wrote that thing. I'm just
She had like
saying,
literally just been spiraling about how she was like so frustrated
Yeah.
she couldn't win
Yeah.
anything, and then the next morning she won the fucking HOA. Like it was great.
It was very
lovely.
sweet. It was very, especially at like such a pivotal moment at like Final Four HOH too. That was like a really, really
Oof.
good moment. It was a very, very
That's
high.
a good one to win.
Literally the best HOH in the game to win because it's like you can just chill when
Just
everybody
yeah.
else is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
fuck out.
And
It's like,
it
yeah,
was
you
funny-
It's
still
lovely.
veto,
Yeah.
but like you don't
It
have
was funny
to.
too because right before she was like, well, at least I can vote to evict Joey if I'm off the block. And then she went to sleep like depressed and then woke up to HOH and had her initial like, oh my God, I'm in the final 3. I finally won something. And then it like wore off for a second and she was like, wait, this means I can't evict Joey. Like,
We'll get into
Again
that
with the
too,
pettiness.
second.
Again
Honestly,
with the
it's
pettiness,
great.
and I live.
It's great for her game though because she would look anybody voting out Joey at Final Four is not going to look great. So
No.
somebody else gets to look bad while she sits back and you know has her HOH safety. Like
100%.
it's incredible. Let somebody else make that mistake.
Mhm.
And they do.
Yeah. And
They
she fully thought that because she won HOH and she didn't get to vote, that this was just going to turn into a veto off between Cody and Nicole, and that whichever one won would be evicting the other, which would be the case for Cody, because Cody and Joey spend like 12 hours, like quite a bit of
day.
time
On it. That was powerful to me.
Yeah.
putting all of their like little game knowledge together and doing their best to try and prepare as much as they can for
Just two dumb bitches telling each other exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yes.
You try your best, but you don't.
And they're like maybe if we combine every one of our brain cells, we
All
can
3 of
match
them.
up to Nicole.
We have a
Brain
chance.
cells.
Yeah.
And
Spoiler alert,
I mean,
they
it was
don't.
very endearing
Yeah.
to see it. Like, and it was also, again, it was a great moment for Cody and Joey.
It was a great move for Cody. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
weaponize Joey as much as you can. Like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Like, they both know that, like, we have to get rid of Nicole if we want to win.
Yeah.
Like, it has to happen. And
From him, it's bold because he runs the risk of, and we're going to circle back to this, but he runs the risk of Joey running that back to Nicole if Nicole
Yeah.
wins veto.
For sure.
I don't want to get there yet because we'll get there.
yeah,
But
it was wild.
We
But
can just
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
no.
risky move.
Very much
And
so.
so I
And-
respect it.
Yeah.
I do too.
And honestly, just
I
another
think-
example of like Cody's like really, really good social game. He's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
there are definitely a couple people who he's kind of done whatever about just because he didn't particularly like them in the first place. But for the people that are like neutral / the people he does like, he gets them like firmly in his corner before they step out the door. So
Well, Cody also does this
I was
thing
gonna-
that I really enjoy in a social player. I don't want to bring this back to me, but I am for a second. But I talked about it in BB Rewinds 13 when I talked about I was a very social player, but I didn't use the social, like, I didn't weaponize that. I didn't use it strategically. And like I talked about in my final speech, of like, this is what I did differently. I actually played the fucking game, right? Cody does that so well. He uses his social ability as a strategic weapon. And I think that's the difference between Cody and a lot of other social type players you see, is that they don't typically use that social ability as like a way to get what they want strategically, or as a way to include someone in on something when other people wouldn't think to do that. You know what I mean? Other people are like, oh, I have a great relationship with him. I'm a really good social player and everybody likes me. And then you'll get taken out at Final 7 because everyone knows you're a jury threat.
Yeah.
But Cody is able to actually weaponize his social ability and we've seen it multiple times throughout this season. We saw it when he saved his HOH win and gave it to Jocasta. That way he can guarantee himself safety for the final 8 fuck all HOH, where half the house is going to be nominated because it was the last battle of the block cycle.
And what did I see Jocasta talking about in jury? Regretting taking that HOH instead of Cody. And she's
Yeah.
right.
Right? So like
Yep.
we see that multiple times throughout this season of him using that social strategic ability. So I find it really, really interesting. And it was just really cool to see it happen again. And well, not everyone shares that. We'll just say that this cycle, not everyone shares that.
So yes, after
Oh.
Joey and Cody have their little study together moment, Amber largely doesn't even know what's going on. She wins HOH and is like, cool. And honestly, that's fine because she's not gonna
That's
vote.
Just
fair.
Yeah.
her reason for nominating them, because Final Four doesn't matter. She was like, "You both let me beat you in the competition, so we're going on the block," which is really funny.
And honestly, work.
But I do want to note
Word.
that as the stats nerd, she did let Nicole get away from getting a second. I believe Nicole's only been nominated once thus far, which at this point it's gonna be one or she's evicted, so she can use that in final 2 if need be.
I think it would have made a difference if
It
Nicole
would've-
still hadn't been nominated. Like, obviously, put her on the block so she can't claim that. Nicole's already been on the
Yeah.
block, so it's like there's nothing. She needs to stay on Nicole's
She
good
can
side. 'Cause
I
Nicole's probably
got
the final
nominated
HOH.
once and it failed. I took myself off. I don't know.
She also talked about wanting to keep Nicole off the block. That way, in some sort of scenario, Nicole, she could use that as a pitch for Nicole. Like, I never put you up. Like, you're one of my best allies, whatever. In a final 3 scenario, that way she can be like, Nicole, you should take me, which we'll get to again. I have so
Yeah,
many things
it's
I need to
100% the right call to keep Nicole off the block. In my
But it
opinion,
is
'cause,
correct
like,
for her.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
also, like Shinx, you were saying, okay, Nicole can say she only got on the block once and saved herself, but everybody knows Nicole's probably going to win Final Four veto too. So you're just giving her that opportunity to be even more heroic.
Yeah.
Minimalize her moves, minimalize her status, and
I don't think
Jackson's
Amber was
spot.
thinking like that.
That's
but-
how that's what I was sad because with whenever the last time the veto was used, it was number 9. So it tied the Big Brother 15 veto usage. So I just wanted it to get used a 10th time and break the record. And I was like, well, fuck, Nicole's gonna win final veto anyway. So at least put her on the block so the veto gets used. But it doesn't matter. So
I mean, they all do Zingland Zing to reroad. So varying levels of success. They all were actually going into the season trivia. They were all somehow within a close range to each other. Like I think Cody
I was
like,
honestly,
third.
I was impressed.
I was very
because
Yeah.
no
It
one
was one of the best runs
usually-
I've seen.
Yeah, usually there's one person each season that just crashes and burns and gets a really, really bad score.
And
or has
this is a
really
longer
bad
Zingland
performance.
too, because there was a lot more space on the board. This was the
Yeah.
first time we
And
did it.
no one even broke triple digits in this one. So I was like, honestly,
They all went into final season trivia
go
in
off everybody.
around
They're 25 to 30
In the 20s.
Yeah, I was very impressed.
I think Amber went in either less than Nicole or just 3 away from Nicole.
Mhm.
And
Cody
I do
yeah.
feel like there was a
only
lot of people landing on spots multiple times though, which kind of helped
Yeah.
out because they didn't have to answer trivia
Sure.
again. They could just
Because
kind
they
of
would fail a
stay
trivia.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think if they kept landing on new trivia spots, it would have been
It
a
would have
lot
been bad.
worse.
There was a lot of
Yeah.
luck and a lot of unluckiness, but it all came down to season trivia. Varying levels. Joey actually, I think, did the best in season trivia,
Mhm,
but this is where it didn't matter. She took too long. Nicole fumbled, but she was still faster, and Joey made more mistakes getting to season trivia. So ultimately, it came down to Cody with 85, Amber at 61, Joey at 60, and Nicole just ran away with it at 42. But it was a lot closer before season trivia. So I think the time factor really adds a lot.
Yeah.
To
And
it. But
Cody,
yeah, Nicole gets on,
Cody more than
and-
doubled his score just in season trivia alone.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he went from 30 to 80,
I didn't mention this.
almost
though.
90.
Cody and Joey, out of all of the things in their notes for them to have, they did not have any of the days written down of
Yeah.
when shit
Which
happened.
is fucking insane.
Nope.
Yeah.
that's the most
Yep.
important thing.
Wild behavior.
They remembered
Anyone-
they left off House Guest Choice and remembered House Guest Choice before they got dates. Insane.
Anyone who's listening to this who plans on applying to BBR, take really good notes and include day numbers for everything. Y'all are obsessed with day numbers in this org. Like, take notes on day numbers.
It's not even
with the right
obsessive.
time zone.
Yeah, with like day numbers. It's like
Me
you
for
should
other orgs, like literally a host could like sneeze in a house chat, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I will write it
and
down.
sneezed on day 34. Like,
Write that down. Write that down. Literally, yeah.
traumatized me.
And I don't even think we were particularly mean with day numbers this season, specifically
'cause I
because we
went
kind of knew
baby
they
on
didn't
them
have enough to
again.
do it anyway. But also because it was like, at the very minimum, you should know what day people like won HOH. Like that happens on the
Yeah.
regular show.
At least the day they went home.
Like, are you kidding? Like eviction day? That happens on Real Big Brother. What?
Yes.
So Nicole wins the veto.
Yes.
And
Nicole joins a very decorated group of people who have won Zingland. Most of them go on to do rather well in the game. Some of them do kind of immediately go out, but most of them, if you win Zingland, it's a very good omen for your game.
so because the cycle was taking forever and a half between the Victoria of it all, the eviction was due in 15 minutes. And luckily Nicole knew what the fuck she wanted to do and immediately sent Joey, put down Bluey for the last time. I just ruined every child's dreams ever. Put Bluey down for the last time.
Took her
For
out behind the
realsies.
barn.
She
Yes.
took Bluey
Take
out
her out
back
back.
And
This
we
is
will
where
Cross that
now
rainbow
loses
bridge.
me.
on
This is
her
where-
birthday.
we will
Oh,
now
I forgot.
proceed
Bluey's
to talk
birthday.
more about it than the amount of time that she took to make her decision.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of
Bluey's
thoughts.
birthday.
This is why I brought up like it being a risky move for Cody, because Joey does go to Nicole and be like, just so you know, like Cody worked with me, like Cody wanted you out. Cody was going to evict you.
Yep.
And Nicole was like,
And
yeah,
Nicole has
I
not
think most
mentioned this in
people
her
were going
DR yet.
to. But
So
like
I don't know
Nicole
if she's,
thinks
like,
Nicole thinks Cody's gonna
placating.
take her to final two, which
Yeah.
is just a crazy read.
That's
I don't know her
insane.
exactly because she hasn't said in her DR if she believes Joey or not. So I'm like, girl, what's the thought process looking
Maybe
like?
Joey should have just pushed it harder, but Nicole seemed decided no matter what. But if I'm Joey,
Yeah.
I'd be like, listen,
I would
like
get the
not only
info out there.
not only did he want you out, like we studied together, we worked
Right.
together to try
She
and
did
make sure
say
you
that. She just
lost.
didn't go as I don't know if she went super hard. Cody's
Yeah.
like, I hope Joey doesn't
Also-
rat on me.
And
But
also,
Nicole's
to be fair to
checked out.
Nicole, like
Yeah, go ahead.
Joey on the like Joey when in survival mode has been known to like go on people's
Yeah.
DMs and say whatever she
lie.
thinks will save her
Yeah.
and lie. This time, what she had was actually true.
The boy who
And
cried wolf.
also Nicole's mind was already made up. But in Nicole's defense, like she had literally like no reason to believe her.
Yeah.
So
The Bluey who cried wolf.
But also,
literally.
Nicole did say that though when she was like, I know everyone is gonna evict me if I lost veto. And I was like,
I don't think she thought Cody would, though.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't think she did, and she's
I
not
don't
talking
know
her
if she
fucking DR.
believes
She has
that
to
or
cool with
not.
her man, so I can't like read this.
Yeah, it's just, we've talked about it, this portion. It's just another example of like, Cody has this girl misted completely.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like the real show. Just like the show. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
and
This
Nicole
is
just
weirdly uncanny.
fully, yeah, it is kind of weird. But Nicole fully believes that because Nicole wants to take Cody all the way to final two. Like she doesn't want this to stop at 4 or stop at 3. She wants to take that man to final 2. And she fully thinks that he wants to do the same. And
He's
like,
very talented. Like he's
Yeah.
such a talented social snake, and I say that like in the most complimentary way possible. Like
Yeah.
he's so good.
Being a social
Yeah.
snake is an art. It really is.
It is no 1,000%. Like
Yeah.
yeah. I say that as a snake as a compliment.
yeah. This man has been plotting on Nicole since like the final 7.
Before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clocked her very early.
Yeah.
Nicole would have only plotted on Cody if it was to save Brittany, and she didn't have that choice. So
Yeah.
Cody just like kind of took Brittany's spot in I love you, I'm not gonna hurt
I mean,
you
she
kind
did
of
have
thing.
that choice. Cody and Brittany were on the block.
Well, Brittany was not staying that week.
Brittany, well,
Even
Brittany
if she taught
Brittany couldn't have stayed because Donnie would have broken the tie. They only had 2 votes. but
Yeah,
that's-
she only did that to save face with Cody, which
Yeah.
kind of worked out in her mind, not really in reality, but in her head, she still has Cody.
I mean, the thing that I find so flabbergasting about this final 4 is that both Nicole and Amber want Joey gone. And that's
And
just,
Amber is confused when Nicole does it. She's like, "What?
Yeah.
Why are they in the final 2? What am I fucked?" I'm like, "Girl,
I
That's
understood
actually
it.
the only part I found like confusing was like I actually completely understand why people would want Joey gone, and I don't understand why people are so baffled by it. But what I am baffled by was when Amber was just like, wait, why would Nicole evict Joey? Like, what's going on here? Like, I literally started questioning I think I even DM'd Shanks, like,
Yeah.
wait, Amber wanted Joey out, right? Like, I was
Well,
gaslighting myself
I
because
do
of that.
I understand Amber's point of view, I think,
Yes.
because Amber's trying to
Yeah.
guarantee herself a position where both people take her to final two. Now,
Right.
here's what I wrote down earlier that I had to stop myself from saying because I was not trying to jump ahead. But said, I find it difficult to fault Amber for that perception because normally in these scenarios, I think it's actually really similar to Big Brother Rewinds 15, unfortunately, to not to pick at that scab.
Not unfortunately.
Yeah, not to pick at that trauma. But like I think it's very similar to that situation where you expect someone like you play under the assumption that someone's going to make the optimal move for their game. And so Amber's idea is I want to get rid of Joey because then both Nicole and Cody make the optimal move for their games, evict each other, and take me. So I'm guaranteed to be in the final two. It's the same thing that Danielle did in Big Brother Rewinds 14 that everyone thought she was crazy for. Like it's that exact same type of move. The only problem we saw with Danielle was that she actually physically had to make the move, so the jury was confused. Just like we talked about with Amber, she got lucky because she won HOH and didn't have to make the move, so the jury was not confused and it didn't hamper her. But I can't fault Amber in this scenario because, again, she's operating under the assumption that Cody and Nicole are both going to make the correct move and not take the other one. Cody is going to do that, and Cody's going to take Amber. But Nicole, for some reason, wants to take Cody and doesn't take Cody out here. So I think that's why Amber's confused because she finally has the realization that Nicole is not playing optimally for her
Yeah.
game. And I think it's
That makes
confusing
sense.
because Nicole's been playing so well the whole season. I think that's what's throwing Amber off of like, oh, I thought Nicole was this like player of the season type like person that's gonna like make the optimal moves and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's probably part of what threw her off in that scenario.
I will say, and I'm gonna like play devil's advocate against even myself a little bit because like I don't even necessarily know if the move is bad on Nicole's part. She has pretty consistently beat both Cody and Amber. It's just her reasoning behind it is it's what's wrong. Her like read on the situation is what's wrong. Because here's the thing, like Nicole is a humongous threat, and getting rid of the goat before final three, it could be viewed as smart because it gives people one less option of like somebody to bring to the end. Now the problem with that is that Nicole is threat number one and pretty
Yeah.
far and away threat number one. So nobody's gonna like actively choose to take her anyway. However, I do think she's a good enough talker to where if Amber somehow won final HOH, she could maybe get in Amber's ear and be like, look at the game Cody's played, like look at this, look at that, and point to Cody as a big threat who should be evicted instead of her. Do I think that's probably gonna work out? No. Do I think Amber's probably gonna win final HOH anyway? No. But there are arguments for Nicole cutting Joey benefiting her game. It's just combined with her misread on Cody's loyalty makes it, and her wanting to take Cody to final two makes it all the more confusing. And this is what I hate partially about like the end game of Big Brother is it's like even if Nicole gets all the power, chooses who she sits next to at the end, all of this, she's going to be viewed as weak or like having a bad gameplay or whatever because she made the quote unquote incorrect choices because she's going to choose to sit next to Cody. And it's like, but if it were the other way around, and obviously Cody's not going to, and like Cody chose to take Nicole, he would then be viewed as the stupid one who's like making the big mistake. And I guess that's what's frustrating is that even with power, like with great power comes great responsibility. And like, you're going to have to make choices that the jury is then going to judge you for better or for worse.
Yeah.
And that's just unfortunate.
And I mean, I think we've seen examples of that in the real life show too. Like I mostly think about like Tashawn and Brayden on Big Brother Canada. The jury literally said that whoever like ended up winning final HOH was going to be the person who won the game, which is stupid, but that's just how it comes to it at some points. Unfortunately, it's like you have it can kind of be a double-edged sword, because there can be plenty of people that get to the end of the game and didn't have to win those competitions and didn't have to like cast those deciding votes and that thing. And they can be like, but I did all of this. Like I can point to this and this and this and this. And the jury will say, well, but you weren't the person who actually did it. You didn't win HOH to do it. You didn't win veto to do it. And it can be the exact same thing on the other side, where if it's not what the jury perceived as the correct move, it's like, well, you were the one that had all the power to do the right move and you chose to do it wrong.
Yeah.
So juries are hard, man. It's just it's hard to win the game. It's hard.
And that's actually
It's
that's actually
hard.
one of the reasons why, like, in my mind, you would cut like the perceived goat and everything, is because, like, besides the whole like positioning element to it, juries are so fucking erratic sometimes that like I know I personally never want to go to the end with someone I'd be pissed to lose to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to ever like have that on me. Like
That's fair.
I want there to be a good winner either way. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
I don't think that's wrong if that was an element that went into it.
And you know what? I'm thankful to Nicole, because
Me too.
her evicting Joey, in my mind, guarantees a great winner.
Yeah.
No
No,
matter what.
Exactly.
I need to look at Rewind's history before I don't know. I'm just gonna say it anyway, and then I'll look back. Is this our best final three ever?
I think
Yes.
I think it is.
I think
I
so.
agree.
Like
I
there
think
is a
Yeah.
okay, wait, no. Well,
No.
15 doesn't count because y'all
15.
were all returnees. Shrink Sombra, Isabel. But like these are three newbies that all have
Yes,
humongous-
best newbie final
each one
three
has
by
a
far.
unique, compelling argument as to why they should win the game. There's not a single goat. We're no way we're getting a unanimous vote, regardless of the matchup. Like
I still think this is the best final three, simply because I think all three could win in scenarios potentially.
Yes.
Whereas I
Yeah.
don't think Sombra ever had to put a scenario to win in in 15.
yeah,
Not
that's
that
true.
Sombra did not play a great game that was win worthy, but I mean, in the scenario of the season, with the jury she had, with the way she jury managed, I don't think there was really a way for Sombra to win the game in BB Rewind's 15. Unfortunately, even though Blaze is a 2-time runner-up, right? Great player, but that doesn't change the fact of like that one game.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
personally
that jury
think
hated him.
they did. And I think that
Ugh.
this is like the best final three we've ever had ever in terms of like
I just checked from seasons that
Really?
I've spectated. At least there's not a single. Nothing beats it. 15
There's
is
always
the
that
closest,
one
but
third
that's it.
person.
It's funny. I actually had you know how Discord has like the highlights and everything now,
Yeah.
that where they were like,
Yeah.
this is what's going on. I had one from earlier today. Best final three in BBR history, chatting in. So like, yeah, that was
I-
a discussion already in Spec
I would
Lounge.
like, I think that 13 is also a very large contender for that. Because I think Amber and Dominic and Lalana
Dominic scored.
all were amazing. And I think all of them had arguments to win as well.
Dominic was not winning ever.
I believe
Got 2
Dominic
votes.
got a perfect score in one of the parts. I think he played partly for fun, got a perfect score. I don't
he
know.
got a perfect score.
No, I
jury.
meant
I
I meant
think
winning.
his
I
tie-
meant winning.
He
The
would have cut
game.
Graham and then lost to Jake, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not so I don't think I still love Harmer, but I don't think he was gonna
That's a
win.
good final three though, and I love Dominic. We
It
all
is a
know I love
great final
Dominic.
three.
Yeah, I don't think that's the best by any means. Like I said, I still think 15. Oh, I still think that 16 is the best in my opinion, but
Yes.
15 and 13 are both
And I also
pretty solid
think
in my
that
opinion.
this will likely lead to us having the best final 2 as well.
probably.
So yeah, Joey got evicted.
And
forgot how
it's
we
a little
got
bit
there.
baffling that Nicole doesn't just take out the huge threat in Cody over Joey.
That's how we got
but-
there.
And the jury really feels that way too.
Even Cody felt that way.
Cody felt that
Cody
way.
was
I
like,
think
what
Cody
the
was
fuck?
more blindsided than Joey was.
Yeah.
That
And
he
at this
didn't get
point,
evicted.
Nicole has not spoken in her DR since the eviction, so I still don't know her read on what Joey said or like her reaction to anything. So like she could be having the woke moment right now. She's just chilling with her man by the pool. So God knows what the fuck she's thinking right now.
As she should.
We'll-
She
We'll
deserves
have
it.
more insight
Queen
next
stays
week. I
queen.
guess.
Queen stays queen.
Adios.
So yeah, the final 4, that's it. I said last cycle, and it was the title of the podcast, that true block roaches never die. And that lives on, because Joey will always live in a special place in my heart
It's true.
as the Bluey
And in the history
Brigade.
books,
The
she's
Bluey
tied the
Brigade
record.
cockroach. We love
She's
you.
tied with Dominic for the record.
Yes.
So until someone
Joey
breaks it next season.
Joey was so much fun this season. I loved her so
He
much.
was.
From her posting her one gif that she had on the show of throwing that bottle in the recycling bin to everything, because that's the
And
only
Joey was the
reaction gif
last
that she
person
had.
to like enter the house. Like we didn't think Joey was gonna be Joey. Like
It's
Logan was
true.
not about to be Joey for a second. We had a replacement already. He like he didn't respond to our message for like days. He got it. Like, oh my god, can I still say yes? I was like, sure. I was like, we need a first boot anyways. And then he proved me wrong, very, very much so. And
Yeah, Joey, I mean, I'm still not over her being nominated literally every pre-jury cycle.
And surviving. It's so good.
And through Battle of the Block twice, being vetoed by someone else twice, and surviving an eviction vote by 6-5 is like, that was her pre-jury cycle.
Icon.
And then she
to
came
leave and come back.
she
like,
came into the
of
jury
course.
where she finally did actually get evicted, and she won the battle back over like solid comp competitors
Yeah.
like Caleb and Zach. And she got back in and got herself into a great spot between all the power players. And she made it all the way to Final Four, from first boot to 9th place to 4th place. And I think she turned it out. And I loved Joey this season.
My 4th place
Bluey
sister.
Brigade, stand up.
Bluey Brigade the moment that she picked Skrelp as her partner, I knew we were in
I knew.
for it.
I knew
Who
I knew
picked
it.
Skrelp? No one
I
picked
fucking knew
Skrelp,
it.
you know. That's
So
right or
good.
die. No one picked
So good.
Skrelp.
But yes, Bluey Brigade is officially down. Or that's the Final Four for everybody. One more again, let's talk about MVP and LVP.
I'm not sure if this is going to be controversial or not, but my MVP pick is Amber. And I think it was I think was it Swan who was talking earlier, that I just started like waving my phone wildly in the air and pointing to it. Where basically like she got exactly what she wanted, in that Joey, who she wanted murdered, left the game, and she looked sane because she didn't have to do anything, and she didn't have to like make this, crazy move in front of the jury, but she still got what she wanted and everything. And also the fact about the whole like, what we were talking about earlier with her spiraling about not having comp wins, and then she won it, and it's like such a clutch, like that final 4 HOH is just such a sweet spot to be in.
Mhm.
It really does put you in such a better headspace going into that final HOH, which, headspace is a lot for those kind of competitions. A lot of those are about, reaction time, or just kind of keeping a cool head in general, and not panicking. So I think that that's a really great space for her to be in going into next week. And then my LVP, as much as I am a Nicole stan, I really like I'm fucking obsessed with Nicole. I've been obnoxious in this back lounge, but we got to give it to her this week. Like, it really sucks for her though, because she wasn't able to be in the HOH position this week. She was kind of in a lose-lose scenario, because she wanted to keep Cody. So like, she just really she had to win the veto because she was gonna die otherwise. But by winning the veto, she had to be the one to make that vote, and then she kind of looked crazy and really just lost a lot of credibility with the jury, which we're already seeing the effects of. So, yep, that's my vote.
Period.
I shall go next because this is going to be a first that no one has ever anticipated before. So to begin, to no one's surprise, my MVP is going to be Nicole, because once again, a clutch comp win.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And can I finish my goddamn sentence?
No.
Let the man stand.
Anyways, and yeah, she went in there, and it's like, of course, she's the only one that had the notes, and she everyone made the notes. She's the only one that had them ready, which I can respect. And even the people who made notes didn't make the good ones. And it's like, she came in, Graham, let me finish. She came in prepared, and yeah, everyone in the game and out of the game expected her to win the veto, and she did, and that is why she's getting an MVP. However, no one's done this yet. No one has ever given the MVP and LVP to the same person. and I'm
Oh
doing
my
that right
God.
now.
You literally can't do that.
Because that would make no
I'm
sense.
breaking the rule because I don't care. It's my org anyway.
I was just gonna say,
It's not
I was
your
waiting for you to
podcast,
pull.
bitch.
I was waiting for you to pull the "It's my fucking series" card, and there it is.
I still think that because as much as I'm caping for her, I don't get why she did it. I don't. I can explain 1,000 times over as to why I cut Pikmin last time. I can't explain why she saved Cody outside of loyalty, and I think it was dumb. I've been calling it dumb for the entire week before it even happened, and
So
yeah,
are you
I'm
giving
just
her MVP just for winning POV?
yes,
Yeah, that's what
because
he
she
did
has the
last week
notes
too.
that no
so-
one
To
else
be
did,
to be fair, at Final Four, POV is kind of the only thing that matters to a
and no
certain
one else
extent.
had the
So like,
notes.
Okay,
Like,
I agree.
if there's
but
any
if the
round to
only
give
thing that
MVP for
matters,
solely one win, it's this one. You know, like
no, I agree. The win was important, but you're going to give her MVP for getting the win to secure safety and then making the obvious only wrong move you could make the cycle.
yes, that's why she's getting the LVP. Two things happened this week. She won, and then she fucked up.
I'm
Two
just
things
so
worked here.
tired of this shit.
I guess we're ignoring the work of men in this world.
Yes.
Which
It's
is
like fair,
Totally.
but
disgusting.
That's fair.
So Cody put in the work with Joey to help Joey potentially win the power veto,
Correct.
which Joey did get second place, didn't she? She did,
Correct.
right?
yes.
Okay.
Totally.
So worked on his notes with her, worked on building up loyalty and trust with her. And also it's like a season long arc of like work and social relationship and mist and loyalty that he's put in that
Yes.
that gave the move that made her make this move this cycle. And so
Correct.
it paid off this round. I'm giving MVP to Cody for putting in the work with Joey for, the move may not have landed, obviously, but his head was in the right place. He put in the work to make it happen. And not only that, when the potential worst case scenario happened of Nicole winning power veto, he still was safe, even though he should have been her number one target. And with that, that's why I give Cody my MVP far and away. Though I will say I wasn't thinking about Amber, and Alex brought up really good points about Amber for her MVP thing. So I want to give
Thank
Amber
you.
some flowers. My LVP is Nicole, just because it's a misplay, it's a misread, it looks terrible to the jury. And sometimes we like to see a queen trip. We don't want it to be a steamroll. We don't want it to be too easy. So yeah, Nicole's my LVP.
I'll go next. My MVP is also going to be Cody. And the reason that Cody's my MVP is because I think he actually put in the most work of anyone this cycle in terms of planting seeds with Joey, in terms of keeping his relationship up with Nicole, in terms of going through all of this in order to guarantee that either way, once Amber won HOH, that regardless of what happened with the veto, he was going to be safe and going through to the next round. I also want to give him bonus points for being quite literally the only person on the cast. I mean, I guess other than Joey, but it was more so guided by Cody, for being the only person that was competing in the power veto competition that recognized the threat of we need to get out Nicole. And he was the only one that made that correct read. And then because of that read, went in and did all this stuff with Joey, right? And there's also some credibility to him knowing, oh, well, I'm going to help Joey. There's no blowback that can come out on me because one, Nicole loves me. We have a great relationship. And even if Joey goes and runs to Nicole and says all this shit about me, Joey is known as an unreliable narrator whenever her back's against the wall. So I don't have to worry about anything because I'm in the clear. And he did that. My LVP is Nicole because she made the most suboptimal move for her game, was not able to recognize the threat she actually needed to get rid of. Her reason for keeping that threat was not solid. It wasn't really found in anything. It wasn't even, that's the thing, is that it didn't even really feel like a loyalty move either. It wasn't even.
I don't know why she did it. I have no clue.
It wasn't like a Cody's my number one ride or die and we've been together all season, using my heart instead of my brain move, right? If it had been Brittany, I maybe would have understood that, but it wasn't. So it was just a weird move from her overall, and we grade her on a higher curve, right? Because we've talked about that, but even then, even grading on that curve, it's it's just questionable, and she killed her jury credibility this week, unfortunately. So that's my LVP.
Didn't I see something in her confessional where she was talking about how she legitimately thinks she stands the best chance against Cody at Final 2? jury vote wise or
Yeah.
something.
Yes.
Like,
She's
just
on
what a
crack.
poor read. It's just
I
a
think
terrible read.
Yeah, I think
unfortunately.
she thinks that Cody has pissed the most people off, which I can understand at kind of like a surface level. Maybe Cody definitely has the more fiery, like will snap at you person, and maybe she thinks that she can do better at Cody in final questioning too. Maybe Amber is a pretty like well spoken and like very like put together person, I guess. So maybe that's part of it. But
Or it might be she thinks her and Cody have played a really similar game and she thinks she's done it better because they're on the same side. You know what I mean? That might also be something to take into consideration, but I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But yes, I'll go into. I have the same exact as everyone else. What seems to be the majority at least. And I do understand. Alex's reasoning was good. Thanks. So I will
Thank you.
disagree. I will disagree with Jinx, but that's okay. But yes, I'm giving my MVP to Cody. I think he deserves a lot of flowers this cycle for literally being the only person that, no matter what happened, was going to be safe. And that's a lot going into Final Four. Especially there's such low numbers and it's such a tight like game that can go between anybody. Still being this deep into the game and having that by your own like maneuvering and everything is very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So I will give him props to that. He's another person that's only gotten one trainer of the episode thus far along this thing, and I definitely think he deserves at least more than that. I think Nicole and Cody and Amber have all been very similar and at similar levels, so I think they deserve about the same amount of praise. So that's another reason why. But he actually genuinely did deserve it. And then yeah, my LVP is Nicole. I think I said a couple episodes ago that I probably wouldn't get the chance to say it again when I did it, but here's my chance, baby. Nicole, you're LVP. Sydney, take us away. I love
You're making
Nicole.
it
I want
worse
everyone to
than
say. I want everyone to
Yeah,
know.
Nicole is queen.
Nicole has been amazing this season,
Nicole's queen.
and we love her very much.
Okay. So my MVP and LVP are the same as Jackson, Graham, and Swan. So I won't go too much into it. There's just like a few extra things I want to add. So for MVP for Cody, I think there was a bit of an argument, like the logical argument here that like maybe Cody didn't do as much per se this week because he had already set the groundwork. And I get that. But also at the same time, it's like this is endgame where everything is kind of an extension of how you've played the entire game. I mean, not to say that big moves and changes can't be made in Final Four. They definitely can. But a lot of times, endgame is the consequences or results of what you've done the entire game. So, in that vein, I think Cody is deserving of it for the fact that no big moves were made this week. And the move that was made that kept him safe was all of the things that he's done socially and strategically since day one in the house. Like, for all intents and purposes, he should not be here. He should have left when because he didn't either win HOH or veto, period. Like, it should have just been like that. And it's really the big move doesn't seem as flashy because we all knew it was coming, but it's still a big move that he was able to use his influence to stay. And I also agree that like he had all the right reads. I think because he is the only one that has correctly clocked Nicole's threat level and the jury threat that she is, or like maybe was ish, I think he can have the best argument in final two because Amber, I don't think Amber is unaware of Nicole's threat level, but I don't think she's going to be willing to attack the very few weak points Nicole has in her game the way Cody will. Because not only has Cody kind of clocked it, but Cody is just a little bit more cutthroat and has less loyalty. And also, he can use that against Nicole way more than Amber can. Like the way that he's essentially made Nicole think he's much more loyal. He's obviously made her think successfully that his game is worse than it is. So all that to say, I think he's the clear MVP. My LVP is Nicole, and I understand the other side of things, but I think that she's hurt herself in jury, not to like a detriment. Like I definitely think jury questioning and speeches will matter if she makes it to final two, which I think she will. But I do think that even though we hold her maybe like to a higher standard because she's such a great game player, I do think like it also matters when and where you make your missteps. Like it would have been one thing if she made like a misstep a few weeks ago, and it was like, oh, that was a bad read, but like, you know, there's time to fix it, or, you know, she can soothe it over. But like, this was a big misstep. Like, this really, really hurt her in jury, and she already wasn't super, super popular in jury. Like, she has a few people, like obviously Brittany is really supporting her, but like no one has been like really pro Brittany, or sorry, pro Nicole, in a way that would have allowed her to make a misstep like this and come back from it without much of a consequence. Like, this really hurt her. I do think she's going to have to work extra hard in final two to make up for it. And I think it does matter that the misstep she's made is in final four, and it's in having the vote to evict and evicting Joey. I think that's a really big misstep. But like I said, I don't think it's the end of her game by any means. And I think she's played an amazing game. And honestly, like, if she ends up in final two, she's definitely the person that I want to win. I'm very happy, like we said, with anybody winning, literally any three of them winning. Like, I think they all have their own narrative arc and something that makes them like a very satisfying winner. But Nicole's who I want to win. But I still think that Nicole made a big misstep, and I don't think we should reward her for it, but I also get why you guys did. So
one thing I actually will say is, I know we keep saying like it was this huge mistake to send Joey to the jury, and like, yes. However, one of the first things Joey said as she joined jury was, so we're all voting Nicole to win, right? Like,
no, true.
Joey's very much a Nicole cheerleader on that jury.
True.
And like, that's what Nicole needs right now. So,
And
it's a double-edged sword, we could say. I think it's like there's definitely pros that have come out of it, but it's hard to reward her for that, because she did not evict Joey thinking Joey would do that for her, at least to that extent. And also, the reason she evicted Joey was because she thinks she can beat Cody, but also she thinks that Joey has like all these Joey truthers in jury that are like Joey or nothing. And that's just not true. Like, Joey definitely has friends, and Joey would definitely have gotten votes, but most people, I think, would have still valued game over their allies. And then there's like Jacosta, who would probably rather shoot herself than ever give Joey a fucking vote in final two. So it's like, I think that I just think it's hard to reward her for something she wasn't really even aware of what happened, on top of the fact that she had the wrong read and thinking that not only is Cody less of a threat, but also that Joey has more jury votes than she has. You know what I mean? But anyway, I agree though. I think that
I feel like we should be clear that the only person wanting to reward her was Shanks. Like, let's
incorrect. Incorrect.
No,
it was
just you.
I was rewarding her competition win, not her gameplay decision. Those are not the same thing. Anyways, there's one point I wanted to make that City reminded me of while she was talking, is that when Joey got to jury, Alex had it, but it wasn't. She was like, Cody's number one mission for the last few weeks has been get out Nicole, and he can't. He has failed,
which is fair. That is very fair.
An important thing that I just wanted to say that Mike. Not to say that Cody isn't putting in work, but I'm like, Joey's making a point. If he wants to call out so bad, he can't get it done because he's not beating her in the competitions. What can you do at that point? You know, that's all I have to say.
And I agree 100%.
Season 15
but again, Nicole isn't even aware that Cody wants her out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is a big blind. That's a huge.
Or if she is, she doesn't care. Because if she told Joey, like, I know that I was gonna go if I didn't win. I don't know if she believes that, but she said it. I don't know what her fucking read is. I've said that 1,000 times today. I don't know what her brain is saying, but yeah.
It's saying something that's not. It's not right.
It's the Nicole Cody effect. No matter what happens in any timeline,
maybe like Nicole
Cody
and Cody's real spirits have possessed them. Maybe
we're getting
that would make sense.
Cody didn't cut her, and Cody's still gonna cut her if he wins the HOH.
Yeah, Sydney, why don't you take us away with your trainer of the episode as well?
Okay.
I wonder.
This will be even shorter because I pretty much just laid it all on the table. But trainer of the episode, or week, or cycle, or whatever the fuck, is Cody. We only have so many of these left, so it's kind of exciting. I'm glad to give it to Cody because I think Jackson mentioned, or Graham, that Cody hasn't gotten a ton of trainer of the weeks, which is kind of crazy because he's played a very impressive game for sure. But yeah, I pretty much just laid out on the table. We've all talked about it. So I'm not going to say much more other than I think Cody is very deserving of it. I agree that there are flaws in Cody's game, just as there are flaws in Nicole's game, just as there's flaws in Amber's game. But I think this week we really saw all of the work Cody's been doing paying off so big as is to like keep him in the game and give him the chance to make it to final two. And also I will say, because we briefly touched on this, it is really impressive, a bit actually psychotic and scary how well he's able to mask his bitterness and anger with the
Yeah, it's weird.
like if, I know
Wild.
I know when these people go back in his DR, like if people decide to read DRs, they are going to be gagged by the level of vitriol that is in his DR comparatively to how he speaks to them. Like he will be in his DR talking, saying absolutely heinous shit about people over little tiny things, and then literally says that type, and then immediately goes to their DMs and is like, oh my God, like I'm so glad we're in the game working together. Like I love talking with you. Like, and everyone does that, but he did it to a level that was like, I actually was a little frightened of him a few times. I was like, this is a little scary.
I love it. I'm obsessed
No,
with
such, again, it makes him a great villain, like an awesome villain. But again, like that's something I think that though I am scared of it, and I do think I wouldn't like it if I was talking to him, I think it should be rewarded because it's paid off like so massively that he's managed to somehow convince people, or like, you know, Nicole, that people are mad at him. So he's kind of been able to convince Nicole of that, but then nobody's mad at him. But then in his DR, he actually is mad at everybody else. It's like 3 layers of mind games that he's playing with everybody, and it's kind of awesome. Cody, clear trainer of the week.
that is the cycles. We've talked about Final 5 and Final 4. We've talked about MVP, LVP, trainer of the episode. The only thing that we have left is to rewind and talk about the cycles of Rewind's history past. We're getting kind of deep into this. So not a lot of seasons have made it to cycle 12 and cycle 13.
Yeah.
But the ones that did, there are some very good moments to talk about. And I am looking forward to it. Chinks, would you like to go first for your moments?
Yeah, as Jackson said, a lot of these cycles were the end of the games, and a lot of people had won by this point, such as Zav or Troy or Cole getting his second and third win within these 2 rounds. Our Ariel, the first woman to win. For
Mother.
Let's go, mommy.
And Chelsea also won.
Oh.
Yay for Edmund.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I love you guys.
that but
Hateful.
yeah, with all these, we're getting down to a lot of final 3, 4 decisions, but one season that was not there yet because it was really long was my season 15. And my cycle 12 and 13 moments are going to be the same thing because it was the same fucking thing. They tried to kill me, but they can't get my ass, which is unfortunate to say. That first we have the double eviction where I was going to this. There was a lot of trauma for me because the final 6, as Sydney mentioned last episode, we got the final 6. It was a double
We
eviction.
throw around the word trauma a lot. I don't know if I would say that.
traumatized.
No. Okay, this was a pretty fucking traumatic thing. But by the way, Shakes, I'm probably gonna like hop in on yours. I'm pretty sure my moments are gonna be the exact same as yours. So like, and we
Go
both
for
lived
it.
them. So
Yeah, so we're getting the final 6. We've all just pulled off a crazy tiny Kong back door, and it's like, dang.
Oh, that was fun. That was really
now
fun.
we gotta turn against each other. and
R.I.P.
it's like,
Hazel, my queen.
Yeah, y'all were
I
fucked
mean,
up for that, for real.
You guys
R.I.P.
were sick
Hazel.
and twisted for that, and I'll never forgive you.
Yeah, that was
R.I.P.
really fucked
Hazel,
up, you
but
guys.
also it was so tightly run. Oh, it was so smooth.
At that point,
it
it like the
Chef
universe
kiss.
was in on it.
So we're in the double eviction. It's final 6 again. I'm like, oh, fantastic. I have to beat my placement here, or it was all worth nothing. And we get the HOA. First of all, I make a plan with my quote unquote alliance to take out the last outsider, that being my best friend in real life, Insanity. And so I'm just like, we just go for D. Like, that was the plan A to just go anyways. And they're like, yeah. And then they go and tell D, hey, look what Shinx is doing. Meanwhile, I'm over here making a deal that I know was bullshit, and Aqua knows was bullshit. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna go after you. Of course not, because I'm like, I'm not gonna not make a deal, but I'm like, I don't care. Then we go to this fucking awful ring of fire. We're returning from hell since
Which,
like
by the
season
way, I
8
just
or
kind of
9
want
or
to, I just
something.
kind of want to insert, by the way,
Yeah.
while we're making these promises with Shanks of like, yeah, everything's great. Meanwhile, Rox is over practicing for hours for this competition, like literally running through it, like in real time with the timers and shit, like going absolutely psychotic to try to win this HOH because we want Shanks out that badly. Like,
I was in my
we,
Nicole era doing my own prep for this
yep.
in my DR. I didn't tell anybody what I was like. I didn't even want to win the. I wasn't gonna throw, but I didn't want to win because I wanted to like get like the 5 whatever the fucking number was. I wanted to like be eligible for all whatever. And so yeah, Ring of Fire happens, and Blaze calls me out. I'm like, okay, something's wrong here. Why is someone calling me out? I live. Someone calls me out. I'm like, okay, why the fuck you can't. I'm like, stop calling me out, bro. Okay, something is very wrong here. My spidey senses were tingling in a sense that I did not enjoy. And so,
That
for the
sounds
people who listen,
strange.
Yeah, not
I
an
pulled
uncomfortable tingling.
I pulled out a Spider-Man plushie for the record. Anyway, so yeah, I eventually lose the HOH because I forgot to trigger the one command that came up first, and I was like, cool. And then I was out, and I'm like, then they all throw to awkward. I'm like, okay, I'm going on the block. This is without a doubt. And we get the veto, and it's comics. And funny enough, I stole this method from Alex herself.
You're
I
welcome.
took the gifts.
You're welcome.
I broke them out into frames, and I just looked at them. And it was still, I thought I was gonna lose because I was in there for a while. Like when the ping came up that I got it, I thought the ping was saying someone else got it. I was like, oh, it was me. I was like, thank fucking God.
There was a lot
And
of them.
apparently,
There,
yeah. And so
because we
it was
hadn't
final
done
6.
anything
We had
like it at
comics
that point.
for
So it was like
everybody.
all
Yeah,
10 of the evictees,
there were
right?
comics for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah, it was a
like,
lot.
okay. And Swan was like, change this one thing in his head. And I'm like, I wasn't changing that. It was fucking Hades, because of course Hades has to bite my ass again. And eventually I change it. Thing goes off. I win. I'm like, I beat my placement. Let's fucking go. And then Aqua puts up Alex, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not voting out Jake. And Jake is like, I'm like, okay, Jake, they're fucking like, I don't know what Robin is doing. I can't, like, they're not gonna keep you. And then Robin's like, no, I want to keep Jake. I was like, huh? And then I'm like, what
Meanwhile,
is
Robin's
happening?
in my DMs like, oh my God, Isabel, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. And then I just go into begging mode, like straight out begging. I'm not even like
Yep.
coming up with any sort of sane or rational arguments. I'm just like on my fucking knees. I'm on my fucking knees to this little purple alien being like, I will owe
It
you my
was
life in this game.
it
And
was
like, oh my
insane.
God.
The spec
And I
lounge
was,
was like everyone. It was like that gif from SpongeBob where like everything's
Oh
on
my God.
fire and people are running around. That was the spec lounge. It was.
If
It
we're
and I'm
talking
like,
about people making moves that like have the jury being like, what the fuck? And the cast like, what the fuck? And the audience, what the fuck? Apparently it was Pikmin
to be fair,
not
also
saving.
I ran to Sombra as well, and because I knew that Pikmin was also really close to Sombra, so I was
Yeah.
like, shit, Pikmin is gonna vote me out. You need to like talk some sense into them. So like basically, Sombra and I were just tag team gaslighting Pikmin,
It
Whereas
was
and like,
Jake
bad.
told me to
which is
just
a theme
chill.
for me apparently with
Jake
my
was
rider
like, I've
dice.
got Pikmin.
So
You just don't worry. Just you block your vote. I'll get Pikmin. I was like, okay, whatever, Jake. I was on cloud. I'm like, I'm safe. I don't give a fuck what happens anymore. I was like, I'm gonna vote off Isabel because she fucking pawned me no matter what happens anyways at this point.
kisses.
And yeah, Jake goes home 2-1. And we're gonna segue into cycle 13 because they go hand in hand. At this point, Blaze outgoing into no, not outgoing. Blaze is feeling like some sense of guilt or whatever, and leaks this Rox alliance to me. I've been beginning to have a mental breakdown of idea. Like, I can't win. I've lost. It's over. It's over. It's over. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You know what? We're so back. We're so back. And I start being such a dick to her. I'm like, hey, how do you feel about Rox?
You were
And
so
like,
funny looking back.
I was like, hey, Pikmin, rock, who's there, bitch? And I was just like, yeah, I got all your fucking numbers. And I
and
was
Pikmin
like,
being Pikmin, it just completely
didn't
goes
get-
over their head.
that was the best part. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna tell them who leaks. I'm gonna win HOH and make them be a fucking knight. Like, they're just gonna like, but whole time they fucking knew who leaked because of course they did. I can't have shit in this.
No, actually, D thought that I leaked.
Oh yeah, I did. I got Aqua to think.
No, and I took
got
the heat for it gladly because
Yeah.
I wanted to draw the heat so that Sombra would be more like loyal to me and shit, and would see the stuff that I was doing.
Yeah.
To
Okay.
like, because I was basically like, you're my only path to final two besides winning out. Is the way I was thinking. You being like Sombra, so I'm like, I'm not gonna fuck over the one person who'd be willing to take me. Like,
So the two people who didn't matter didn't know
yeah,
who leaked it. basically.
exactly.
And it
And I'm like,
paid out for you because you were one of the two options for the renom.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Sombra,
absolutely.
Sombra went with
Yes.
the other one.
yeah. So once again, we get an HOH. I lose by 3 minutes. I was like, well, same old, same old. And I was like, it's just destiny. I have to win Final Four HOH anyways. We'll get to that next week. Of course we will. But yeah, I'm like begging to Blaze, who has already decided like he's gonna nominate, by the way, and is about to do the ceremonies. Feels bad for me. Doesn't do the ceremony. Tells me he's gonna think about it. Leaves for like what felt like 10 hours just to come back and put me on the block anyways. I was like, okay, cool. And then we get to the veto, which was mini
Blaze's
games.
schedule that whole round was so atrocious.
That was
like
disgusting.
that schedule was bad,
It was nasty.
which I'll get
We
into.
to the mini game veto where I'm like shitting my fucking pants. I think I got first or second in every round. So yeah, I was just like clutching. Like I was like, please make sure that Sombra is too young to understand what American Dragon Jake Long is, and make sure that Isabel is too old to understand what American Dragon Jake Long is. And that is exactly what happened. They were like,
It is a very
fuck?
niche age.
You gotta be in that pocket.
Yeah.
It is a very.
And I was,
You gotta
I was
finger
like,
that pocket.
thank
You gotta finger the
oh my,
pocket.
not
exactly.
again with the finger in the pocket. But yeah, I get the veto. Also, we all fucked up the tiebreaker. I thought I botched the tiebreaker, and I still would have won that tiebreaker because how bad all 5 of us did on the tiebreaker, which is really just like we were channeling our BB16 cast before we knew the BB16 cast. But yeah, I would take myself off the block. There's a whole renom roulette bullshit, and everyone's just feeling so sad and depressed that their little alliance is gonna break up. And I'm just like, why are all of you people venting to me? I don't care. You wanted it to be me. Get out of my face. But I couldn't say that. So I let Blaze sob to me for 30 minutes. I let Aqua tell me to my face that he wasn't going to keep me. And then I voted him out. And then I stopped caring. And Aqua laughed. Alex, you can continue from there.
Yeah, it just in general, the only thing was that like I really went into that cycle like with huge distrust with Pikmin and like actually trusting D more because Pikmin had just almost voted for me and everything. But like D really, I think, misplayed that round wherein like he completely twisted a conversation that I was having with him about endgame and then like ran it back to Somber, but completely flipped everything I said. And that's actually what led to him getting voted out. Because if he had just kind of like stayed and not really like lied and shit, I think he actually stays there. But
I was just going to make Blaze break the tie anyways. I didn't fuck.
oh, I know that you would have, but like, oh yeah, and that was the other thing is that round was kind of the result of me trying to radicalize Sombra against D a little bit, as far as like upping threat level and stuff. So that kind of felt good.
Someone
like,
had to.
Let's murder.
I mean, it worked.
Someone had
Yep.
It
to.
absolutely worked. And I
sure
think
did.
by and large, I think that point was really the point where like Sombra like went all in on you. And because I think up until that point, it was maybe a little like back and forth where like maybe he could go with BWD or maybe go with you. And at that point, you really put in a lot of the work to make it.
The thing I was just gonna say is remember like how I was kind of saying earlier about like how Blaze's schedule was really atrocious that round. The big thing that I was just reminded of because I was recently rereading my diary room was that cycle was so hard for me because like not because I was sad about voting D out because that's what I wanted. Like I wanted to vote D out, but because of Sombra's schedule, I couldn't tell D that I was voting him out, and I basically had to string him along for the entire cycle because I felt like it wasn't my place to tell him that he was leaving because Sombra had just told me that he was like her other final two and her other ride or die and like was basically cutting this other being willing to cut this other person for me. And I'm like, it would just put me in like a tough position where I felt like it wasn't my place and I couldn't like betray that loyalty. You know what I mean? Because like it was kind of a little bit of an irrational loyalty if you look at it logically and threat level wise and stuff. And I knew that it, you know, I just kind of had to take the hit of the jury management and just kind of trashing my reputation as far as that, because I was like, I need to just be completely undyingly loyal to Sombra, because that's my only path, you know?
Period.
So,
I was gonna say that in real time while this is happening, I'm in a VC with Aqua, just acting like we don't know what's going on. He's been like, "Oh, I'm not in any works right now. Definitely not. Nope. And then he gets put on the block and he hangs up. The second his name gets punged, he hangs up, and I start cackling to our other friends in the field, like, y'all, this bitch just got put on the block, and I'm sending him home, and he is so upset. But I was just,
Yeah. I can go ahead and go next for mine. I want to at least talk about cycle 12. I don't know if I'll touch on anything in cycle 13 because none of them are really speaking to me. But for cycle 12, I want to talk about, shocker, I'm going to talk about Big Brother Rewinds 11 because I always
11, yep.
do. Final 5 of Big Brother Rewinds 11, in which the forever iconic moment of Jordan is on the block next to Laura at the final 5. Jordan wins the veto fully. Should be guaranteed safety with herself by winning the veto, but Jordan has come to the point in the game where she's tired of just doing what other people want for her to do. And she wants to do what she wants to do and what feels right in her soul and her heart. And she doesn't want to let the intrusive thoughts win. And she uses the veto on her blockmate, on Laura, instead, and stays on the block herself. And Jen gets put up as the replacement nominee next to her. So it's Jen and Jordan on the block. You would think that the person that Laura just got saved by with the veto would vote to save her, but no. Laura votes to evict Jordan along with Jeff. And after winning the veto herself, Jordan had the intrusive thoughts, and Jordan gets evicted at Final 5 after winning veto. It's iconic.
Rip. It's really good. It's very good.
Just like yet another absolutely iconic moment from Big Brother 11. So,
like using the veto on the person next to you and then being voted out by that person is just
camp.
Brilliant. Brilliant behavior.
hilarious.
Yeah. So that's all. That's all I will touch on for my moments.
I think mine will be pretty short because it's not really the whole cycle for the few I'm going to talk about, just like a really funny moment from each. So for cycle 12 in BBR 6, that was the cycle I got evicted. And it was the cycle where Yvette, so Howie won HOH and Howie and Yvette were partners. I think actually it was a sweep week for Howie, maybe, because I was begging him to take me off the block with Janelle.
I think Howie swept.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they had
Howie-
the Zingland, they had the first ever Zingland tie, and then Howie
yeah. So he sweeps, and obviously he's not going to take Yvette off. And at this point, I'm mad at him, but I do try to get him to take me off the block. And I'm like, I'll evict Janelle, but I was going to evict Yvette. He doesn't because Howie's smart. So Yvette, even though Yvette and Janelle fucking hate each other, for some reason, some weeks before that, they created like a blood vow with each other where Yvette promised she wouldn't evict Janelle, even though she hates Janelle and Janelle hates her. But even despite that, Janelle sends like in Jeevan style, like an 800-word paragraph about how she should keep him. And she just sends like, I'm not reading all that. I already told you why I would keep you. Honestly, whoever gets 4th and 3rd here, it's just you guys fighting for the placement as a meme. And Janelle, like,
I forgot about that.
so Yvette evicts me, and then Janelle in the next cycle, Janelle and Yvette Janelle's like, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. Like they go into it, which is pretty awesome. And that was also when I got evicted was also when Yvette told me that me and Kaser that season were temptations for Howie. Had to get rid of us.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Like she insinuated that like because we were closer to Howie than she was with him because they were partners, which is true. She had to like get rid of us. So like to make sure he was incentivized to take her to the end, which he already was. But anyway, Yvette is a psycho, but also kind of kind of iconic in so many ways. And then cycle 12 and BBR 7 is when that was final 3. It was me, Zoe, and Julia. Me and Julia being besties. And the only thing I'm going to say is we evicted Zoe. It kind of was like boring, but the only funny moment was it was the live keys competition. And in the beginning of
Oh,
it,
yeah.
Zoe like wasn't even online, and me and Julia were, and we were talking back and forth about like, okay, like we should split the keys for now until you and I figure out when. So like, Julia, you take this one, and the next one she was like, okay, Lori, you take this one, and then we kept going, and then the next key came, and me and Julia are in DMs like fighting over who should take it like mathematically, and then Zoe just shows up and takes it. And we didn't even know she was online. So we're like, holy fuck, she's here. She's going to try to win. So then that sent like us into like a spiral for the next like 12 hours where we felt like we had to be there. We could not log off in case like Zoe actually won. So anyway, that was pretty funny. And then cycle, yeah, that was like Zoe's such an icon. Zoe, unbothered queen,
We love Zoe,
but also I guess not real.
but not real.
But anyway, we're not gonna. I just can't get over that. And then for cycle 13, it was fucking Jiven. Okay, so BBR 6 again. I'm already evicted. It's again the keys competition, final 3 with Howie, Yvette,
Oh my God.
and Janelle, aka Jiven. And Jiven was like in Britain for some reason.
He was
Don't know why.
asleep. He was not awake. It hurt so bad.
Yeah, so he was in Britain on like a different time zone for no reason. I literally still don't know why he was there. Just to piss me off. And so since he was in like a different time zone, I guess I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know if he misread when the competition started or like miscalculated the difference in time zones, but he shows up like 9 hours late to final 3. Like he hasn't taken one key, just been Howie and Yvette the whole time. And he's like, oh my God, the competition already started. Wait, guys. And everyone in jury is like, fucking Janelle. Like, we're just like, God.
We were rooting for her.
Nobody-
We were all rooting for her.
Nobody wants to see Yvette and Howie in final 2. Like, I was totally fine voting Howie, but every single person in that jury fucking hated Yvette. Nobody wanted her to make it to final 2, and we all wanted Janelle/Steven to make it because we were all gonna vote Janelle if she made it. And he just shows up and just so late fucks up the competition. We're all just like, fuck it, Jeevan's not winning. Like Janelle is not fucking winning this shit. And he didn't. He got evicted. So yeah. Anyway, those are my moments. Swanifer.
No, I don't really
does
care.
Oh,
I've never made it to BBR Endgame. I have nothing to say.
oh,
I've never made it to
Yeah.
BBR jury.
Damn.
Yeah,
My moments, I think both of mine are probably gonna come from cycle 12, just because that's a better cycle, I think. But they both come from my seasons. Unfortunately, I hate being super self-centered, but Jackson took the one I was gonna talk about because I was gonna talk about Jordan intrusive thoughts. But Danielle at the final jury questioning in BB Ryan's 8. She's like, she's gonna beat Joe because Joe's been the GOAT the whole time. None of us really want to vote for either of them because they were both really lackluster, but we're gonna have to do it anyway. And then Danielle releases the smear doc where she had a document documenting every single thing that I did and every single thing that Dustin did the entire fucking season to release upon in a moment's notice of like any peril. She released the smear doc of like this like smear campaign kill document of all of the shit that we'd ever done all season with like messages and timestamps and like this. It was insane.
It was very.
We got a rule change.
It was
There was a rule
crazy.
change
No
because
offense.
of this.
No offense to Matt who listens to the pod. It was wild. It was so off-putting that she almost lost. Like we were all almost like, oh my God. So that was really funny looking back on it now. It was very funny that she had like a file on all of us. And then my other one is I won Zing Party and redeemed myself. That was really good. That was really lovely to redeem myself at Final 4, season 13. Because that's where I lost. I lost Zing Party and went home. Or Zing Land and went home season 8. And then I won Zing Party and stayed for
And-
Final 4.
This is
And
when
Jake
our
was-
King Dominic. set
Jake
the
was
veto record.
answering trivia
Not the
questions in
Dominic,
between
oh my God.
traffic.
In the fucking streets.
Yeah.
Oh my
in
God,
between
that was
traffic,
really funny.
and was so far behind that he said, "I'm just not gonna do the mini games."
He's taking negative points. He ended in negative points.
All
But yeah,
right.
also cycle 13 is when Dominic, Harmonizer, our king, set the record for most noms. He
That's
was just now
true.
tied with
Nomination
Joey.
record.
Love them both. And yeah, we can end this thing now.
That's the pod, everybody. Thank you so much, Alex, for being our lovely special guest
Thank
this
you,
episode.
Alex.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you,
me.
Alex.
This
You
is
are welcome
lovely.
anytime.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
We just have one more of these things left for next week. So we'll see you guys next time for the season finale of Big Brother Rewind 16 and the season finale for the Rewinds Rewind. So we'll see you all then.
Let's go.
Bye.